He's got some things he's going to continue to improve on and work on. But again, the versatility that he shows as a ball handler and creator, there's 3 guys under 21 that had a triple-double last year. He's one of them. The other guys are pretty good too. So again, we feel very confident where he is. He's grown in the national team and taken steps here. He knows what's in front of him. I wouldn't say year 3 is a make or break definable year for him just because of where he is in his basketball journey. It's pretty young.
And I think that point Dawkins was making about Coulibaly's age does deserve proper consideration, because he is quite literally earlier in his development, deeper into his NBA career than a lot of the players with similar size frames that have become all-stars over the past decade or so. Now again, I'm not saying that Bilal Coulibaly is going to become any of these 3 players, but purely in terms of height, athleticism, ball handling, defensive ability, the raw tools, Coulibaly can compare to a Jaylen Brown, a Paul George, or a Kawhi Leonard when they entered the league. All 3 of those players, though, started their careers at the age of 20, so they all had a full year head start on Coulibaly. In Coulibaly's age 20 season, he averaged 12.3 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game while playing really strong defense. None of the likes of Brown, George, or Leonard averaged more than 8 points per game in their rookie seasons. None of them averaged close to 3.4 assists per game. So in terms of where they were at age 20 versus where Coulibaly is, Coulibaly's numbers are better so far. In fact, neither of Brown or George would eclipse 20 points per game in a season until their age 23 seasons. Leonard did it for the first time when he was 24. Now, all 3 of the players I referenced were drafted onto playoff teams, so some of their individual numbers may have been a bit stunted compared to Bilal just based on opportunity out of the gate, and they were all more efficient than Bilal, but that's possibly in part because they were on better teams, which meant they had better looks. All numbers aside, though, the main point is that it would probably be silly to characterize this as a make-or-break year for Coulibaly in terms of reaching his ceiling. If he doesn't take a huge year 3 leap, that doesn't mean it can't happen in year 4 or 5, the way it did for all of Brown, George, and Leonard. The most important thing is that there is at least some step forward for Bilal this year with his shooting efficiency and with his playmaking. Even a small one would, statistically speaking, align more with what we've seen from some recent all-star wings. The last takeaway I want to get to involves how this year's roster is going to see minutes divvied up.
Looking at the competition that you speak of and trying to balance the vets' egos, whether old or young, come into play at some point, how do you try to balance that and keep everybody understanding what the plan is, the development of the young guys, the guys in their second year with the opportunities they got last year? Yeah. Getting used to maybe not getting as many minutes this year potentially.
Sure. I'd take you into the room when I talked to the team a little bit, and I said I'm going to get asked a bunch of different questions. What do you want me to say about our team? Like, what do you want the fans to know? What do you want the media to know about your team? And the veteran group, rookie group, middle-aged players, whatever we want to call them, like, we had everybody in there. And to a man, they were like, we are going to compete this year. We're going to compete in practice. We're going to compete in games. We're going to earn the respect of our opponents. And we're going to earn the respect of the fans. And that's important to them. And defining Wizards basketball and what it looks like moving forward is an opportunity that they're embracing. It's a challenge, but it's also a huge opportunity. And with that comes a lot of competition. And I told them last year, a lot of stuff was given more than earned. This year, that can't be the case. And everybody in here has to feel that. And that's what's going to sharpen iron. Iron sharpens iron, and that's kind of what we want to do. So they're embracing it. They're ready to get after it. They're not hiding from it. I literally was like, hey, these rookies got a lot of minutes this year. Who's taking their spots? Like, that's the mentality we got to have. And everybody else's spot has got to be like, yeah, that 72 minutes that we're returning, I'm getting a piece of that. So I think that's why I'm excited for camp, to see kind of who shines and kind of who fights through it. But it's a long season. Everybody's going to get their opportunity. But the veterans aren't going anywhere. They're going to play, and they're going to hold their spots, and they're going to make us more competitive. But they're also going to grow the group and foster the group because of that. So everyone's on the same page. They know what it is, and they're ready to get after.
I think every Wizards fan is going to be excited by some of the words they just heard. That last year some minutes were given. This year everything has to be earned. As Will Dawkins said, C.J. McCollum, Chris Middleton, and Corey Kispert, they're all likely going to play as the veteran leaders of this team. But that leaves 9 first-round picks from the last 4 drafts, as well as Justin Champagnie, Tristan Vukcevic, Jameer Watkins, and Marvin Bagley III, competing for what likely amounts to just 7 rotation spots on a night-to-night basis. So yes, while you'd expect Alex Sarr, Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, Bilal Coulibaly, Trey Johnson, and Cam Whitmore even to perhaps have legs up on those rotation spots, A.J. Johnson, Champagnie, Will Riley, Dylan Jones, Malachi Branham, they're all going to be hungry for minutes as well. Seeing how those early season rotations go, as well as who perhaps gets some extended run with the go-go to supplement developmental opportunities, is going to be a fascinating storyline coming into the season, and the hope has got to be that all of that competition will create a star from this young core. Those are my 3 takeaways from Will Dawkins' training camp press conference, and you're listening to Wizards Radio 24/7.
The following is a special presentation of Wizards basketball on the Washington Wizards Radio Network.
And then Trey Johnson pull-up 3 and third. Don't do it, rookie. Cunningham off the screen, drives to the basket. Denied by Alex Sarr. Sarr said no.
The 2025-2026 Washington Wizards season is presented by Capital One, the official bank and credit card of the Washington Wizards. By Caesars Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the Washington Wizards. By Robinhood, the official brokerage and jersey patch partner of the Washington Wizards. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of the Washington Wizards.
Coulibaly cuts to his right. Right elbow ball. Hold the children.
Join play-by-play man Dave Johnson and color analyst Glenn Consor for the radio party.
Couple head fakes, turn, shoot, scores!
Check in on X by tweeting at Dave J Sports and at Glenn Consor.
Go Wizards.
And now, here is your voice of the Washington Wizards, Dave Johnson.
Here we go. Sunday night together. Dave Johnson, Glenn Consor, Ryan Alvin, Chris Wright, and Chase Hughes from Capital One Arena welcoming you to Washington Wizards basketball on the radio. Tonight, it is the Washington Wizards and Brooklyn Nets. And let's celebrate the season so far of Alex Sarr. Again, our belief he's been the most consistent Washington Wizards player this season. And think of his comparison with his fellow members of the 2024 draft class. So far this season, he's averaging 19.1 points per game. That's first among the 2024 draft class. 8.6 rebounds, third among the draft class of 2024. 3.8 assists, that ranks sixth. 2.3 blocks, number 1. 53% shooting from the field, that's third among the 24 draft class, and 35% beyond the arc, that's 12th. Make no mistake, Alex Sarr is doing a little of everything. Left the circle, Coulibaly, bounce pass, left the top of the Alex Sarr. Friends a pass, Cunningham slamming, along Coulibaly. With 2 hands, 2 points. Yeah, how about Sarr with a career-high 7 assists? And then Sarr aggressive on offense. George off a Sarr screen. He will try a 3. No. Sarr follows there. 2 hands. Oh, hold the children. 54-50 as Sarr brought that down with force. And as Brian Allen points out, shining through even when it's a tough night, like in Boston.
Another excellent performance from Alex Sarr. Efficient from the floor on his 31 points.
Coulibaly, baseline right drives. Pass up on Sarr, right elbow, right block. Flips up a shot, bank and score. Alex Sarr driving toward the baseline.
Active rebounding, had 8.
Sarr, top of the arc. Shovels now to Coulibaly behind him. Coulibaly, right elbow, his runner right side of the lane, doesn't get it to go. Sarr grabs, rebound, spins, scores. He spun through 2 Celtics defenders and scored 18-12. So Alex Sarr, 10 points.
Active blocking shots.
Now driving on the baseline, Brown under the basket, left corner, Minot. Now he drives. Oh, boy, for the tomahawk slam, defended by Alex Sarr.
Finishing with 3.
And, of course, Keyshawn George making noise in the NBA. In fact, on the Off the Bench podcast with Chase Hughes and Bijan Todd, trying to come up with a player comparison. And for Bijan Todd,
I tossed out Cam Johnson, and it's an okay comparison. It's not great. Cam Johnson is not as fluid as Keyshawn George is, and they don't run plays through Cam Johnson as much as the Wizards do through Keyshawn George. Keyshawn George does a ton of pick and roll work. Really good spot-up shooter, just like Cam Johnson is, but that's like the closest I got. I feel like that's like a 7 out of 10 comparison. I can't really do much better than that. I tossed out some other players, but I think Cam Johnson plus more feel and more offensive responsibility and slightly better defense is what I'm giving Keyshawn George.
As of today, where I sit, I'll say Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks. They're about the same size. Jalen Johnson might have more bounce. Keyshawn George is a better shooter. I think might have just a more well-rounded game. But Jalen Johnson's pretty good. I think that guy could make an all-star team in the next few years.
And, of course, Chase Hughes, part of our broadcast team tonight. Hey, that was a fun conversation again. It's the Off the Bench podcast. More in a moment from Capital One Arena on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Dave Johnson back with Glenn Concert, and we're back at home against the Brooklyn Nets. And good news, Bilal Coulibaly returns tonight to the lineup. And just your thoughts. So unfortunately, he went down because he really just came off the injured list and contributed in so many ways, and especially with that defense that you want.
Yeah, just excited to have him back in the lineup. For him to be on the court, obviously he brings a lot to the table for us on both ends of the court, but just excited for him to be out there with the guys.
And also the schedule, the way it worked out, we were in Houston Wednesday. He actually had a couple days practice, which can be rare this time of year. How important was that these last couple days, and what was the focus?
It was great. Coaches love practice, so get a little time with the team, just focusing on our fundamentals on both sides of the ball, get Bilal back acclimated to with the groups was really positive, intentional work.
With such a young group and only 12 games in, what are some of the areas of growth that you've seen from the players and as a team?
Yeah, you can see some of our individual progress for sure in some of our guys, and obviously some of our team process. Obviously we've been in 2 overtime games, so that's been good for us to learn about some clutch situations. But just, I think we're seeing the team grow together, the resiliency. The last couple of games we've shown some good starts to the third quarters. So I think we're just putting it more together. I'm excited for this next game today and this next group of games.
And specifically against the Nets, 2 teams that are very hungry for a win, what do you think it's going to take from you guys tonight against the Nets, who have some pretty good players?
Good team. Focus on the things that we do well, starting with our defense, cleaning up the rebounds, and playing with pace, sharing the ball, the things that we want to do tonight.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
That's Brian Keefe. More in a moment on the Washington Wizards Radio Network.
Are you ready for it?
Brooklyn Nets are in the white with the black trim, black lettering. The Wizards, this is the Gold City Edition port. Their Gold City Edition uniforms, gold, a black horizontal stripe across the jerseys, and white on the shoulders, white numbers. It is Alex Sarr to jump center against Nick Claxton to get things going, and Sarr wins it, tipped by Coulibaly. Back to Keyshawn George, working right to left. The Wizards have the first possession. McCollum, hash mark on the left wing, puts the ball on the floor. George, edge of the center circle that says DMV. George, right elbow, right block for the basket. Bank and score. Bank it home, Keyshawn. 2-0 Wizards. 11:40 to go, first quarter. Working left to right in the backcourt, Terrence Mann for the Nets. Guarded by McCollum. Right at the top of the key, Claxton. Sarr is on him, 12-second shot clock. Sarr, bounce pass under the basket, bank and score from Michael Porter Jr., who is their leading scorer, 23.2 a game.
Keyshawn George gets the assignment early to defend Michael Porter Jr.
George to Sarr. Stop. Touchdown. 4-2 Wizards. Now, Gilman on the right side, Clowney. And back out front, Yegor Gilman. Gilman again, the rookie from Brigham Young. Out front now, Clowney for 3, drains it. And the Brooklyn Nets have the lead 5-4, 10:56 to go, first quarter.
That's got to be an area of concentration. The Nets are 5th in the NBA in three-point field goal attempts, so they will let it go.
George, right at the top of the key, left of the circle. Middleton, although they take the fewest shots per game to the Brooklyn Nets. Middleton, after a crossover, a 3 does not answer back. And the rebound is brought in by the Brooklyn Nets, Michael Porter Jr. Yegor Gilman, left to the center circle, left elbow, drives down the left block, spins. Out front, Porter Jr., left elbow, foul line, fades, off the rim, gets it to go. Nice touch. And the Brooklyn Nets have a 7-4 lead, 10:20 to go, first quarter. Right of the circle, Coulibaly. Koulibaly slashes, right elbow down to the right block. Out front, Sars open for three, rims out. Boy, he was wide open. Terrence Mann gets the rebound. Mann through the center circle, cuts to his left, guarded by McCollum, left elbow going to the basket. Tried to pass in the corner, it was deflected. Clowney was waiting for a corner three. It goes out of play. It'll be Brooklyn Nets ball, 16 seconds on the shot clock.
Option A offensively is Michael Porter Jr. They're looking to set screens for him and let him operate.
Yeoman inbound the ball, baseline right. Nets working left to right. Yeoman out front to Terrence Mann. On the right wing near the hash mark. Cuts to his left. Marked by Sarr. Cuts to his right. Driving. Does Mann. Gets in the restrict arc. Blocked by Koulibaly. Mann gets a block ball. 4 on the clock. Mann on the right sideline. Loses the ball with the pressure from Koulibaly. Bilal streaks up court. Right elbow driving. Right of the restrict arc. He gets his shot blocked by Claxton. The other way we go. And the pass that Yeoman was behind him almost went out of play, but he recovers right at the center circle. And foul line. Jab step left to the top. The key shoots over Sarr. Doesn't get it to go. Middleton the rebound. 7-4 Nets. Middleton now. Top of the arc. Dribbles to his right. Middleton bounce pass in the lane, and we have a foul against the Brooklyn Nets. So Claxton gets called for the foul, deflecting and fouling Alex Sarr. Side out for the Wizards. It's the Gold City Edition court. The lane is gold, and gray surrounds the area from the three-point arc into the baseline. Right sideline, Keyshawn George. Out to Sarr, top of the arc. 15 on the clock. George, rocking the cradle, back and forth. Step back three for Keyshawn. Off the rim, no. McCollum rebound. Feeds Koulibaly to the basket, and he tried to tomahawk dunk, but he drew a foul. So Clowney gets called for the foul, and so good to have Bilal Koulibaly back in the lineup. It was out with a calf strain. Yep. It happened against Boston. He had played 4 games when it happened. And we're really looking forward to just an extended run for Bilal and show what he can do now in his 3rd year.
Well, you immediately saw what he could do defensively. He did a great job playing defense, getting that steal, and coming up the floor. And that's what he can do is he can really change the complexion of a game with his defense because he could switch out, he could defend the low post and on the perimeter.
7-6, he makes both free throws, working from left to right. Yeoman in the backcourt, guarded by Koulibaly. Koulibaly knocks it away, comes up the steal. Right elbow to Val, going for a slam. It came off the rim and then went off Alex Sarr trying to grab it. So Bilal did not get up high enough.
Got 2 steals already in like a second. But,
he came up the steal that
knocked that rust off a little bit.
As he cocked it back, I think it slipped out of his hands a little bit, and he dunked off the rim. 7-6 Nets, 8:55 to go, first quarter. Terrence Mann in the center circle, getting to DMV. Now, legal. McCollum was fighting through the screen. I think he's going to get called for the foul as Claxton set the screen out front. 8:49 to go here. On the right sideline, Yeoman will inbound the ball.
He's defended by Koulibaly. That's an interesting matchup.
Bounce pass to Clowney, right corner, turnaround 3 off the rim, no. George gets a rebound, 7-6 Nets. Again, Glenn wants to see him push the pace. Middleton, pass on the wing is deflected by Yeoman, but Koulibaly gets it back. Out front, George. George driving to the basket, hangs, banks, no, but draws a foul. It'll be Michael Porter Jr. with the foul. 7-6. I like Keyshawn attacking.
Yes, I do. And I like to see Koulibaly attack as well. But Keyshawn really has taken that leap of just being sure with his offensive game on when to drive, when to throw the step back move on people. And he's got to continue to attack Michael Porter Jr., who, by the way, is 22nd in the NBA in points per game. Over 23 a game.
Yep. 7-7 the score. Hey, Alex in Adelaide's listening. Shout out to Australia. Yeah. And he says shout out to Tony Brown Jr., who's playing for the Adelaide 36ers this season.
And it's Monday there, so I was going to ask him if we won this game.
No. Hey, can you help us out, Alex? Second free throw, no good. Clowney gets a rebound, has to save it. But Claxton will bring it up court, right of the circle. Yeah, the big guy throws to Claxton, hash mark left wing, ball fake, he drives, jump stop, left the restricted arc, and traveling. 7-7 the score. We saw the Australian men's soccer team.
Yes, we did.
In our hotel in Houston. They lost to Venezuela there. They play Colombia tomorrow.
They wanted to take you with them so you can call their games, but I had to let them know that you got to stick with us.
So delay game winning to the Nets. Wizards ball. 7-7. 8:19 to go here. Center circle, Koulibaly. Hands off to Sarr. Left at top of the key. George, top of the arc, 4-3. It's there. Oh, it's there. 10-7 Wizards. 8:08 to go. That's now 6 points for Keyshawn George. Left to right, the Brooklyn Nets work. Gilman, hash mark on the right wing, back up front. Michael Porter Jr. Left the top of the key. It is Claxton. Claxton puts the ball on the floor. Gilman cuts to his left. 8 on the clock. Feed all the way over right corner. Michael Porter Jr. for 3. Drains it. And we are tied at 10. 7:43 to go. First quarter of play.
He's got a nice quick release.
McCollum right elbow gets in the paint. His cross-court pass is intercepted. And by Noah Clowney. Clowney driving on Koulibaly. Right block. Gets under the basket. In the left corner. And it's Terrence Mann. Crossover back to Clowney in that left corner. Mann, hash mark left wing. Passed it down low. Intended for Claxton. Sails by him. A turnover for the Nets.
Good defense, though. Low post defense by Alex Sarr. You see some full court pressure by Brooklyn.
7:25 to go.
With Mann on C.J. McCollum.
So McCollum grabs the ball. Mann shadows him in the backcourt. McCollum brings it across midcourt with a second to spare because of the pressure by Terrence Mann. Cuts to his right. Now throws in the right corner. Ball fake. George steps to his left for 3. It's there. Oh, yeah, ring it up. Hey, Keyshawn, how about that start? He has the last 7, 9 of the Wizards' 13 points. 13-10. Now the pass goes into the backcourt as Clowney was trying to get it back to the point. And a backward violation. But wait a minute. They're calling a foul on the Wizards.
Yeah.
Keyshawn George gets his first, so it will not be a backward violation. Instead, the second team foul and Nets ball when we come back. Hey, we're so glad you found us on this Sunday as your weekend not done, as we always say. Connect with us if you like at Dave J Sports, at Glenn Consor. Use that hashtag Radio Party in Roseville, California. Matt is listening and also talking with the Niners Cards game, looking like San Francisco going to take it. So, yeah, we love the multitasking. Back in a moment on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Dave Johnson back with Glenn Consor. Beck 727 is listening on 87.9 FM. You can do that within the arena. As always, Nats Bandwagon has checked in for our Sunday cavalcade on the radio. I want to thank all the folks that came out to East Potomac Golf Links today to benefit multiple sclerosis. It was the Give MS the Boot foot golf tournament. And if you've not played foot golf, it's use a soccer ball and you obviously shoot at a bigger hole.
I'm going to go out on a limb, Dave, and say that I'm a better foot golf player than I am a regular golf player, and I never played foot golf.
Well, you know what was great about today? The wind was howling it felt like 50 miles an hour. So everybody had an excuse. It went right because of the wind. But if the wind wasn't blowing, so it was just a trip. But we raised
a great cause,
$25,000.
Wow, that's
for
tremendous.
The Multiple Sclerosis Society. And one of the reasons we do it, MS is the most expensive disease to treat. To give folks an example, I get 2 treatments a year. They cost $150,000.
Yeah.
So that's why we're busy, and we always appreciate the support. All right, 13-10 Wizards, foul on Keyshawn George before we went to break.
You know, it's interesting, Dave. That last road trip we took, I talked to Keyshawn, and after one of the practices at shoot-around, he said, I just got to be more proactive. I got to look for my shot more.
Well, he is.
Tonight, he certainly is. You could see it.
Gilman on the sideline, the inbound to Porter. Back to Gilman, right of the center circle. Capital One Arena logo right side. Out front, Claxton, top of the arc. Poking out of Koulibaly, edge of the circle for 3. Gilman, no, and Sarr gets a rebound. That was another key of yours, Glenn. No second chance points.
No second chance. Got to limit that.
That's been the Achilles heel for the Wizards. Now Sarr, foul line, trucks in the paint, feeds George under the basket. Denied a bad angle. Middleton, left corner for 3. It's there.
Nice ball movement.
Oh, Chris Middleton makes it 16-10, 6:31 to go, first quarter.
Outside, inside, pop it out to the three-point shooter. That's nice.
Gilman into the right corner, Terrence Mann for 3, and he's got it. 16-13, so a nice answer by the Brooklyn Nets. As our Director of Intelligence, Jonathan Morris, told us, Terrence Mann, the oldest net at 29. They've got a young team. And the Wizards have 10 players, 22 years of age or younger. Coulibaly, edge of the circle, driving, right elbow to the bounce. Throwing it down the right hand. That'll draw your preserves. The Wizards go up 18-13. He didn't miss the dunk that time.
No, the bench went bananas because he missed that dunk where it hit the front of the rim. And you know what? Your teammates, they're going to get on you if you do that. Not that time. He brought Statue of Liberty dunk and punched it in.
And nobody was hurt in the execution of that dunk. We have a timeout, 18-13 Wizards, 6:02 to go, first quarter of play. We're coming back with more on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Well, our man Starmad is with us, joining us. We first met him years ago in Brooklyn, so
yes.
Glad he's listening to the broadcast tonight against Brooklyn, as we're brought to you by Capital One, offering checking and savings accounts with no fees or minimums. What's in your wallet? Hey, you can think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and services you need fast from professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hey, mark it down, Sarmat and others, on your calendar, December 6th, right after the game. We are going to have a live post-game show where we get the whole radio party together live at Fuddruckers. It's right next door to Capital One Arena. It's right, if you know the Clyde's restaurant, it's basically next door to that.
Great burgers.
And great burgers, drinks as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And whenever we do these live broadcasts, it's just great to get everybody together because, again, yeah, we love the wins and losses. Well, no, we don't love the losses. But the point is we love the connection with people like Uncle Weeze and Conowingo, and Alan and Mel are listening in Northern Virginia tonight. So we want you to mark December 6th on your calendar. Post-game, Michelob Ultra post-game show live from Fuddruckers. And by the way, it's just fun to say Fuddruckers.
Is it?
For me it is, but okay. I'm easily amused. All right, Brooklyn Nets ball. They trail 18-13 here in the first quarter. Yegor Gilman, guarded by Coulibaly in the center circle. That's been the matchup. Terrence Mann now, hash mark on the left wing. Gives to Claxton, edge of the circle. 10 on the clock. Claxton goes the handoff to Porter, and we've got a whistle. And it's away from the ball. Well, George has picked up a second. 13th foul. And I think a technical was also called, if I'm not mistaken. Was it technical on George? I didn't. Yeah, George got a technical as Porter, Michael Porter Jr. makes the free throw, 18-14.
Keyshawn's got to be careful. He has been plagued this season with picking up early fouls, and the way, especially the way he's playing tonight. I mean, he's lights out shooting and playing with a lot of rhythm and pace in his game.
Yeoman on the left sideline, inbound the ball. The rookie from Brigham Young, out front Porter. Whips it into Claxton, and slam! Two hands. From the top of the restricted arc to the bottom of the basket, 18-16, and just like that, the Nets are back within 2 points. 5:41 to go here, first quarter of play. And matchup between two 1-11 teams. George left the circle, left elbow, driving, and ball slipped out of his hands. No foul was called on Clowney, who was right on his shoulder. Turnover for the Wizards. 18-16, Wizards on top. Trey Johnson about to come off the bench. Trey Johnson, last 5 games, went 47% beyond the arc. Man in the backcourt, shadowed by McCollum. Johnson's not in yet. Left the circle, man. Claxton at the point between the circles. Covered by Sard, or cutting Porter, slam, right hand. He went backdoor and slammed it. We're tied at 18. 5:18 to go, first quarter. 8-2 run for the Nets. Middleton, hash mark right wing. George, top of the arc. Left corner, McCollum for 3, no. And the rebound, Claxton. Got that away from Alex Sarr. Tied at 18, and the Nets on an 8-2 run. Claxton, left elbow, drives by Sarr. Blocked by Sarr, but Claxton will go to the line.
And Alex is looking for a review. He thought he blocked it clean. And we're taking a look at the replay right now, Dave. And I tell you what, he got it clean up top, but he might have got hit with. He might have hit him with the body. I don't think that's. I don't know.
He is third in the NBA, Alex Sarr, in blocks at 2.3. Again, he's among the rookie class of 2024. He's number 1 in points per game, Alex Sarr. 19.1 as Claxton misses the free throw. That's 4 team fouls on the Wizards. No team fouls yet on the Nets. All right, the Wizards, and both teams, in fact, are adjusting their lineups. Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, McCollum, and Cam Whitmore in now for the Wizards. Tyrese Martin has come in. Also Zaire Williams for the Nets. Second free throw, no good, but a popcorn out of Alex Sarr.
Ouch.
Took an awkward ricochet off the front of the rim.
Right into Alex's hand. And speaking of a guy that's been producing, Cam Whitmore averaging 16.7 points a game over the last 3 games. So he has really been a nice offensive punch.
Now in front it goes to Michael Porter Jr. for 3 off the rim. Long rebound corralled by McCollum. 18 all, the score. McCollum, top of the key, foul line. Dishes, right corner, Keyshawn George for 3. It's there! Oh, it's 12 for Keyshawn, 12 with the Wizards, 21. Pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, 4:41 to go. First quarter. Now front now, Claxton hands off to Porter. Porter whips it on the left lane. Williams off the rim. And rebound volleyball to Keyshawn George. Koulibaly helped out on that. Trey Johnson did, pardon me. George out front for 3. And sees the moment 3, but he didn't seize it. 21-18. Up for now left wing for 3. It's Martin. That's off the rim. Rebound is corralled by Martin and scores. Well, Tyrese Martin, we learned that in school. Follow your shot, right?
Yeah,
and he did. 21-20, Wizards on top.
Right. Dave, Brian Keefe not happy with that shot by Keyshawn. Took a really quick shot, which ended up leading to imbalanced defense for an easy bucket for the Nets.
And again, we always often talk about it. It's a bad offense. It'll really lead to compromising defense. We are just getting started. So glad you're with us on this Sunday, wherever you are. 21-20, Wizards on top of the Nets on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Ray Johnson back with Glenn Consor. The Wizards on top of the Nets, 21-20. And you know the deal. The Wizards win. It's $2.50 Big Mac tomorrow, only on the McDonald's app. And, of course, we invite you to listen on app, if you like. The Odyssey app, Washington Wizards app, NBA app, Sirius XM Channel 909. And tonight we're also on the Sirius XM satellite. All right, 21-20. Really, neither team seizing this game.
Well, both teams are trying to find their own rhythm, and neither one has really found it yet. Wizards want to try to run. You know, they want to. I think they got to turn up the screws a little bit now. Brooklyn going zone.
As Mark George at the point of Whitmore, almost stolen by Martin. Whitmore on the dribble, goes at Martin. Euro step in the paint, flips up a shot off the back of the iron, and the rebound is brought in by Day'Ron Sharpe, who just came in. Now Michael Porter Jr. on the left wing, down low to Sharpe, knocks down George, turns, stops. Well, Keyshawn was trying to deal with him in the restricted arc, but when you're that low down, it's tough to defend. 22-21 Nets.
And he didn't want to pick up his third foul either.
Keyshawn George left the center circle. Cuts to his left. Now right of the circle, Bub Carrington. Lob for Alex Sarr. Catch and slam for 2 points. Let's throw it up there and he'll get it. 23-22. Wizards on top, and Alex Sarr down with his 4th point on 2 of 3 shooting.
Nice pass from Bub.
Now up court on the dribble. Terrence Mann. Hands off to Sharpe. Back to Mann. Left the foul line. Spins. Right corner, Martin. Mann on the right wing on the dribble. 5 on the clock. Down to 3. Mann will take a 3 out front and score. 25-23 Nets. 2:55 to go first quarter. Whitmore, hash mark on the left wing. Dribbles edge of the center circle. Left wing outside the arc, Keyshawn George. George throws to Sarr. Left block. Backs in. Spins. Jump hook. Top of the restrict arc. No. Rebound is brought in by Zaire Williams. 25-23 Nets. Terrence Mann. Down low it goes to Sharpe. Out front now for 3. Bank and scores. Zaire Williams.
No way.
Banks a 3. 28-23 Nets.
Williams had a big smile on his face. He knew.
Center circle, Bub Carrington. But it still counts. Top of the arc to Johnson. Back to Carrington, left of the circle. For the Wizards, 9 on the clock. Carrington double team, feeds Sarr, foul line. Goes at Zaire Williams. Banks, no. As he kind of threw it up, leaning to his left. Now Sharpe knocks down Keyshawn George, and an offensive foul. How about Keyshawn George with 2 fouls, taking the charge? That was a big hustle play.
He's a
2:04 to
player.
go.
Yeah, he's a player. You know, guys that know how to play the game are going to risk that. And he took it. Now he takes a little bit of a breather. Corey Kispert comes in.
And so does Melvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley, pardon me. Maybe he has a brother Melvin. I'm not sure.
He might.
Marvin, 28-23. 2:04 to go here, first quarter. Right to left, Bub Carrington. Guarding the backcourt by Drake Powell, who's just come in for the Nets. Bounce past Kispert, left the center circle. Bagley, top of the arc. Throws it, hash mark left wing, Whitmore. Whitmore on the dribble. Step back three. It's there. Cam Whitmore makes it a 2-point game, 28-26. You said Whitmore has been averaging over 16 points a game in the last three.
Games. Yeah, that was a nice little step back move. Quick release on that.
Now, right wing, bombing the ball as Williams comes out right of the circle. Left the circle, Tyrese Martin feeds, down low, Powell, baseline right, short jumper, no. And rebound corralled by Bub Carrington. Whips it, center circle, Whitmore. Whitmore on the dribble, gives it Bagley, top of the arc. Now Kispert. Hash mark left wing for three, and he goes out of play. Offline, as he was stepped to his right, and it went right of the basket. Not a good shot. 28-26, Nets. Minute 14 left, first quarter. Here in Washington. Center circle, Drake Powell. Pestered by Carrington. Top of the arc, Day'Ron Sharpe. Sharpe will hand off out front, Tyrese Martin. Left elbow. Left side of the lane. Cross-court pass almost stolen by Carrington now. Clowney drives. Euro step into the paint, and Carrington will get called for the foul. Oh, no, pardon me. Trey will get called for the foul. That'll be the first on Trey Johnson. 15 foul. 55 seconds left here in the first quarter of play. 28-26 Nets. It's a Nets team that only averages 108 points a game, so off to a good start here.
Yeah, they are, and they're also out-rebounding the Wizards early this game, 11-7, Dave, and they're out-shooting the Wizards because they're 11 of 19, 5 of 10 from three. That's why I said earlier that the Wizards really got to get that level of intensity up greater on defense.
Yeah, because this is a Brooklyn Nets team that's fewest in the NBA in total rebounds. Yep. Been the worst in defensive rating. Of course, the Wizards are right in that neighborhood as well. Second free throw missed. He missed both, and getting the rebound, Bub Carrington. 28-26, 49 seconds left. Nets lead by 2. Carrington in the center circle, and now we have a whistle off the ball. It'll be Zaire Williams. That'll be the first and last 2 minutes on the Nets because it's their first team foul. Now left sideline, Bub Carrington. Inbound to Johnson, left the center circle. Bagley in the center circle. Hands off to Carrington at 10 on the clock. Carrington probes, gets the right elbow, leans in, underhand, scoop shot, scores as he weaves to the basket.
That's nice.
To tie it at 28.
You know what he looked like on that play? Manu Ginobili. The long strides.
Into the circle, Drake Powell. He's going to take a three off the back of the iron. No. Whitmore secures the rebound away from Day'Ron Sharpe. Center circle now, Whitmore. 20 seconds left. The shot clock is off. We are tied at 28. Bub Carrington left the center circle. Guarded by Tyrese Martin. 9 seconds. Now he puts the ball on the floor. Bagley sets the screen. 4 seconds. Carrington, left elbow. He shoots. No. And getting the rebound, Drake Powell. That's going to do it. All right. We are tied at the end of one. And, it's not a late check-in because we have an early start time, as Nats fan Ragnar points out. 6 o'clock start for your Sunday evening. And we're so glad you're with us. Back in a moment on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Hey, Johnson back here with Glenn Consor. And, boy, we love Chase Hughes and Bajan Todd from their Off the Bench podcast. They were part of our pregame with their comparisons to Keyshawn George. But, Chase, right now on your mind is Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, Dave, we just saw him check in late in the first quarter, and I noticed this week how he's doubled his assist rate this year. So I asked him and Brian Keefe for their theories on why, and they both gave the same 2 reasons. One is continuity, because this is technically his 3rd year in Keefe's offense, and with many of his Wizards teammates, he can make quick decisions because he knows the scheme and his teammates so well. And the second reason is because, as Keith noted, the Wizards run a lot of their offense through the elbow, and Bagley said that is right in his wheelhouse.
Yep, and it is, because he loves to turn and face, sees the floor. You know, you forget, Marvin Bagley's only 26 years old.
Yep, which makes him old on this team, but that's not old overall. Now, Martin, gobble of pass. It was a bad pass by Sharp, getting the loose ball for Kispert. Underway second quarter. Trey Johnson for three. That's no good. And Sharp gets a rebound. We're tied at 28. 11:37 to go. Of course, the Drake Powell to the basket stuff as the Nets got loose. 30-28. Wizards cannot be happy about that.
And then Brian Keith, that was just a poor communication to get back in transition.
Left wing Kispert splits the defenders over to Whitmore. Ashmark right wing. Now in the right corner. Driving, getting into paint, flipping up the shot. Trey Johnson misses, and the Nets get the rebound. Long time to go cold. 30-28 Nets. 11:09 to go, second quarter. Powell goes at Trey Johnson to the basket, bank, and score. Now Drake Powell making an impact. 32-28 Nets. Now for the Wizards. Out of the center circle, Carrington. Edge of the circle, Whitmore. Started by Porter. Steps to his left. Now Carrington. Ashmark on the right wing. Martin is on him. Carrington, top of the arc for three. It's there. Oh, he drills it. Last five for Bub Carrington. 32-31. The Wizards within one.
He needs a breakout game.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Left the circle, Drake Powell. Right elbow, driving. Top of the strict arc. Flips up a shot and scores.
Man.
All six this quarter belong to Drake Powell for the Nets. 34-31. Carrington, Ashmark left wing. Out front, Trey Johnson, ball fake, left elbow, driving, puts it off the glass and scores. And wow, he had to go wide on that and then put it off the glass to avoid the block by Day'Ron Sharp.
With the left hand, too.
Now, right of the circle, Powell pestered by Trey Johnson. Top of the arc, it goes to Sharp. Guarded by Bagley, lobbed to cutting Porter, under the basket, bank, and a foul by Cam Whitmore. And he scored. And won, 36-33. Well, Porter got loose and got under the basket. It was just a matter of catching the pass. 10:02 to go.
The Nets are doing a nice job looking in that wheel and seal game inside. Passing it over the top, getting into the paint. They want paint touches. I attended Jordi Fernandez's pregame media conference, and he said that's what we need to do. We want paint touches, and we want to run.
He went European as they brought in some draft picks that we're not seeing tonight, but they're in the G League.
Yep.
For Brooklyn, Ben Saroff and Nolan Traore.
Yep. And Danny Wolf, who played in Israel, he trained in Israel, but he played at Michigan.
Kispert, right elbow, driving, reverse with the right hand over the shoulders. He went left side. 37-35, Wizards within two. Left the circle. Out front, Michael Porter, left elbow, driving, Euro step in the paint. Out front for three, Zaire Williams. Got it. He was wide open, and he makes it 40-35 Nets. 9:30 to go, second quarter. Trey Johnson left the circle. Whips it to Bagley, edge of the circle. Top of the arc, left elbow, dump stop, left block, and blocked by Claxton. Goes out of play. It should be Wizards ball. It is, with 12 seconds on the shot clock, as Claxton got the block on Bagley. 40-35 Nets. Carrington baseline left, inbound the ball. Wizards working right to left. Sunday night at Capital One Arena. Carrington bounce pass. They're cutting Whitmore. It's broken up and goes out of play. That was an ambitious pass. Whitmore was cutting into the lane, but you had two Nets players under the basket to prevent the pass from reaching Whitmore.
Sometimes stats are deceiving. The Nets have a 5-point lead, but they have 6 turnovers. Wizards only have 3 turnovers.
Kispert, left wing outside the arc. Out top of the arc for three off the back of the iron. That shot by Trey Johnson. Then Carrington steals it away, feeds a cutting, banking, and scoring, and one. Cam Whitmore. Whitmore gliding to the glass. Makes it 40-37. Electrifies the crowd at Capital One Arena.
Whitmore's hang time is just phenomenal. I mean, he went up there, and his body was like parallel to the ground, parallel to the rim, and he hung in the air and almost like waited to get fouled before he just dropped it in.
Now, big hustle play as Michael Porter gets called for the foul. Big hustle play by Carrington to come up with the steal. Oh, yeah, he did make the free throw. Didn't want to go in. 40-38 Nets. 9:06 to go. Second quarter here. in Washington. Right of the circle, Martin. Edge of the circle, Claxton working left to right, hand off the foul. Now guarded by Kispert, steps back, top of the arc. Right wing Zaire Williams for three. Trey Johnson clattered into him. He missed the shot. That'll be the second on Trey Johnson. The second team foul on the Wizards.
I heard Chase Hughes talk about Marvin Bagley, Dave, and his grandfather played in the ABA and the NBA, Jumpin' Joe Caldwell.
Wow.
He played for the St. Louis Spirits. He's 84 years old. I was talking to Marvin about him.
Well, they were also known as the Spirits of St. Louis, and the play-by-play announcer for the Spirits of St. Louis?
Dave Johnson?
Bob Costas. Yeah. A young Bob Costas, 41-38. And that was the team that also had Marvin Barnes, who famously, when they were in Indiana flying back to St. Louis, he looked at the plane ticket, and the arrival time was earlier than the departure time, and he said, I ain't getting on no time machine. At the line for three, Zaire Williams.
Marvin Barnes played with maybe the best passing guard I've ever seen in college, Ernie DiGregorio. Yep. What a phenomenal player he was.
42-38. Played for the Buffalo Braves, yes. For you historians. And
Rookie of the Year, too.
Yep, 43-38. 8:52 to go, second quarter. And working right to left, Carrington. Started by Drake Powell. Carrington looking for an option. It's Trey Johnson in the center circle. Zaire Williams is on him. Top of the arc, Bagley. Bagley on the dribble, hands off to Whitmore. Whitmore tries to the corner baseline. It's blocked. A block shot by Tyrese Martin, collected by Claxton. Now, Claxton left the circle, hands off to Porter. Porter left elbow, denied by Carrington. Out front, Martin. He's got a look from three, and he's got a three.
Too open.
46-38, the Nets' biggest lead. The Wizards are going to call a timeout.
Yeah.
And, the Nets now, beyond the arc, are 7 of 13. Similar to the Wizards, yeah. But it seems like they're making them. You said they can make the threes.
Well, yeah, and they're fifth in the NBA in 3-point field goal attempts, so they're hot now. So they're shooting them, and I think Brian Keefe with that timeout, Dave, he didn't like to communicate. There's no one talking about getting to open guys right now. That's got to change. And while we have the ABA conversation, I recommend to anyone one of the best sports books of all time, Loose Balls. Yes, it was. By Terry Pluto. It's about the ABA, and it'll leave you crying, laughing, which is good sometimes. Back in a moment on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Multitask. That's the beauty of Wizards basketball. The radio, Jonathan Steele has a Ravens game on TV, his NFL Red Zone on his tablet, and the Wizards on his phone. Yeah, you can listen to Washington Wizards right there on your phone. Robinhood brings you the official numbers, official brokerage partner, and Jersey Patch sponsor of the Wizards. And they're actually brought to you by our Director of Intelligence, Jonathan Morris. He says in the second quarter, Glenn, the Nets, 18 points. They've not missed a shot in the second quarter, 6 of 6. 4 rebounds, while the Wizards, 10 points in the second quarter, 4 of 9 from the field, and no rebounds. And that was one of your big keys during the Caesars handled the game. And we've noticed it, Dave. The Wizards really haven't been able to run. Get out and get some easy buckets, because Brooklyn, historically this season, I know it's a small sample size, they haven't gotten back well. And the coaches, mentioned that to me and said, look, we got to try to run, but to do that, you got to rebound. So right now, 18-10 advantage here in the second quarter to Brooklyn. All right, 46-38 Nets. As it'll be Wizards ball facing full court pressure. Starters are back in for the Wizards. Into Middleton in the backcourt, back to McCollum. He is guarded in the backcourt by Drake Powell. McCollum through the center circle, his second to spare. McCollum still on the dribble, bounce past George, left the circle. George cuts to his right, 9 on the clock. Matched up with Claxton, right wing Coulibaly, back to George. 4 on the clock, takes a 3, it's off the rim, and the rebound went off Alex Sarr as Porter had the inside position. 46-38, so the Wizards still don't have a rebound here in this second quarter, and that's not good when you're almost halfway through the second quarter. Getting out rebounded this game 16-9. And again, fewest total rebounds in the NBA belong to the Nets. Not good. Right in the circle, Tyrese Martin working left to right the Nets. Left to top, E. Claxton.
Hands off to Porter out front. Now pass for Claxton, intercepted by McCullum down low. Put too much on it. McCullum right of the circle. Top of the arc, top of the key. Left double, left restrict arc. Baseline left, shoots. No! Got right there, but then now in transition, Zaire Williams feeds Martin baseline left. Kyrie circles out to the hash mark left wing. Martin left the circle. Right of the circle, it's Porter. Right at the top of the key, Claxton. He's guarded by Middleton. Down low to Porter. No and one, but a foul by Alex Sarr. That'll be the second on Alex Sarr. So the Nets can continue their second quarter advantage here. And they have their leading scorer, Michael Porter. Their second leading scorer, by the way, is Cam Thomas, who's missed now the 5 consecutive games with a hamstring injury.
You know, to me, what I'm seeing is they're flat on defense. They're not getting into Brooklyn like they need to on the perimeter. And Brooklyn's able to see and pass, and there's no deflections. And, you know, the stats really tell the story, Dave. Brooklyn's shooting 65% from the floor, 54% from 3.
Porter makes both, 48-38, and 8-0 Nets run their biggest lead of 10 points. McCullum in the backcourt, pressured by Martin, cuts to his left, now feeds Coulibaly to reach for it on the right wing. Out front Middleton, foul line, couple pump fakes denied. Back to George, hash mark left wing. George bounce past the Sarr, weaves in the restrictor arc, puts up the shot, knocked loose, and will be Wizards ball, no foul.
Wizards might have got away with a travel there.
Yeah.
Alex, when he turned around, he took a couple of steps. Jordy jumped off the bench.
Wizards ball, 4 seconds on the shot clock. Not a good quarter, as I think we've certainly pointed out. George in the right corner, Middleton for 3. It's there. Rain in the desert, 48-40, ends an 8-0 run by the Nets. Working left to right, Brooklyn. Left the circle, Tyrese Martin. Now at the point between the circles, Claxton. Hands off to Martin. Martin. Step back, 3 over McCullum. Oh, he's got it.
Boy.
Wow. 51-40, biggest lead for the Nets. Now Keyshawn George, Capital One Arena logo, right side. Driving, spins. Right of the restrict arc. It's blocked, but a foul. Claxton blocked it. George ends up on the deck, but I like, where you look at the break out of the slump, attack.
Yeah, but you also got to attack defensively. That's got to change that level of intensity. Right now, the Nets are 8 of 14 from 3.
All right, 51-40 with Keyshawn George at the free throw line. Again, Keyshawn, he came out, he had 12 of the first 21 Wizards points. He's got 12 points right now on 4 of 7. And he makes that free throw. 51-41, Nets. And Chase Hughes, part of our coverage line with Brian Alvin, Chris Wright. And Sam checks in. Trevor's in South Carolina with the whole family listening. And again, there's so many storylines on the Wizards individually. But now we need to see it come together as a team. George makes both free throws. 51-42 Nets. 6:22 to go, second quarter. Working left to right in the backcourt, Terrence Mann. Caught by George, crosses midcourt, hash mark left wing. Now, top of the arc, Claxton driving and slamming left hand. He left Alex Sarr waiting at the bus stop. The Nets are 9 for 9 this quarter. That's not good defense. 53-42 Nets. Sarr, top of the key. Pivots, hands off to George. George, stop, start. Right side of the lane out front, Sarr. He spins. Foul line, Euro step in the lane. His runner, no good. And the rebound comes to Michael Porter. 53-42 Nets. Up toward now Clowney. Foul line goes to Middleton. Flips up the shot. No, but Middleton gets called for the foul.
Right now, the Wizards are really struggling, and not only defensively, which has really been the storyline, but also, Dave, offensively, they're not moving the ball. It's too much one-on-one ISO right now, and they got to start running some pick and rolls, move the ball. They had a couple of offensive segments where they look good. They were popping it inside, kicking it back out, and they've gone away from that.
It's just not going well for the Wizards. Middleton picked up a technical. He was not happy with the foul. Porter makes the technical. 54-42 Nets. 5:42 to go here in this second. And now Noah Clowney will go to the line to shoot 2. Wizards team fouls up to 4. Certainly they've been whistled more often than the Nets, who only have 2 team fouls right now. And off the back of the iron at the top of the backboard.
Returning for the Nets is Zaire Williams.
So another one coming for Clowney. How would you describe what the Nets are doing as a franchise right now?
Well, you know, they had a lot of first-round draft picks last year. They're going young. They got some big guys in there like Clowney and Claxton, and they're kind of in the same boat that the Wizards are in.
1 of 2 free throws made, 54-42. Left wing Middleton working right to left.
Trying to rebuild.
Middleton on the dribble. Feed for Sarr in the lane, bobbles it. It's broken up and coming up with it now Claxton. Yeoman back in the game. Feeds now out front man. Foul line crossover. Sarr is out there on him now off the ball. We're going to have
3 seconds.
a 3-second violation on Claxton.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
All right, as he was tangled up with Bilal Coulibaly. So turnover for the Nets. Wizards need to finish this quarter strong. They need to wake up 54-42. At least that's the feeling we're getting here. Left the circle, McCollum. Feeds Coulibaly just to his left. 13 on the clock. McCollum bounce pass Coulibaly. Bobbles the ball, hash mark right wing. Now puts the ball on the floor. Foul line. Bounce pass to Middleton. Baseline left. To Sarr. Left the lane. Turn. Shoot. In and out from 16 feet. 4:55 to go. Nets by 12 here in the second. Terrence Mann. Hash mark in the left wing. Mann left the lane. Whips it out front. Zaire Williams. Williams, edge of the center circle. Cuts to his right. Bounce pass Claxton in the paint. Throws it out front. Yeoman in the left corner to Mann. 6 on the clock. He will take a 3. Air ball. Caught underneath by Claxton. Jump hook, no. And then a foul. Put back. And we've got a foul. And now Simone Jelks is going to have a conversation about it with their partners Kevin Scott and Brent Barnaky.
I don't know if it was an and one. I didn't see any.
Yeah. All right, the basket's not going to count.
Yeah, no and one.
It's a 15 foul, so Nick Claxton go to the line to shoot 2. So the Wizards tonight are 6 of 7 from the free throw line, while the Nets are 9 of 15. Now, the made free throws is fairly close, but you can hear the attempts, it's twice as many now. Second free throw for Claxton is good. 56-42. Nets, 4:33 to go, second quarter. Working right to left, Keyshawn George. Handled by Clowney. Coulibaly, hash mark on the left wing. Coulibaly, top of the arc. Hash mark on the right side. Coulibaly left the circle. Keyshawn George. Top of the arc, top of the key. Behind him, McCollum, right at the top of the key. 6 on the clock. Drives. Left side of the lane. His shot blocked by Zaire Williams. Left the restricted arc. Man now coming up court. That's another block shot for the Nets. And in the right corner, Zaire Williams, but he stepped on the sideline. Ran out of real estate. So 56-42 is our score. Now, let's face it, Gordon, this is critical time. The Wizards can't let this get to a 20-point deficit.
Very flat defensively and not a lot of ball movement offensively.
George double-teamed right of the lane. Cross-court pass, Middleton. Feed down low. Spinning Coulibaly, top of the restrict arc. Right wing outside the arc. McCollum for 3. It's there. Oh, it needed to be. 56-45. First three-pointer for C.J. McCollum. Now, center circle Williams gives it to Clowney at the point between the circles. Pestered by Middleton. Clowney on the dribble. Hands off Yegor Yeoman. His pass deflected by McCollum. Goes in the backcourt and goes out of play. It'll be Nets ball with 5 on the clock from the backcourt. So you'd like to see the Wizards finish this possession. Timeout by Brooklyn before we finish this possession. So when we come back, it'll be 5 seconds on the shot clock for the Brooklyn Nets. And I mentioned, talk about some defensive energy. The Nets right now, Glenn, have 5 block shots in the first half. To the Wizards, only 1. And the Wizards, they've actually been very strong in that category. fourth in the NBA in blocks. Of course, a lot coming from Alex Sarr, who's third in the NBA, but not so far tonight.
Offensively, they just have been more efficient, better passing tonight. The Wizards have taken 7 more shots, but Brooklyn's been more efficient. They're shooting 63%, Wizards shooting 41%, and that's been the difference.
Yep. All right, gang, hang in there with us at Dave J Sports, at Glenn Console. Use that hashtag Radio Party. We appreciate the connection. 56-42 next, 56-45 next. Back in a moment on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Big Johnson back with Glenn Console, the whole gang here with you on this Sunday night. We pause just 10 seconds. Station identification on the Washington Wizards Radio Network.
You're listening to Washington Wizards basketball on WFED Washington and W232DG Sterling. Federal News Network, your home for Wizards basketball.
Back at Capital One Arena, our Director of Intelligence, Jonathan Morris, tells us the Nets, Glenn, are out rebounding the Wizards 10-1 in the second quarter. Field goal percentage, the Nets are shooting 8 of 10 in this second quarter, while the Wizards are 6 of 17, 35%. In numbers brought to you by Robinhood, the official brokerage and jersey patch sponsor of the Wizards. All right, 5 seconds on the shot clock. The Nets inbound on the sideline from the backcourt. 56-45 Nets. Now Terrence Mann struggling to get in. Does to Porter. Hand off to Mann. Mann driving on George. Right block. No. And Sarr knocks the rebound to Middleton, but he almost had a layup. Middleton left the circle to McCollum. McCollum, a little shimmy shake. Stops the foul line. Bounce past George. Bounce past lane to Sarr. Slam. 2 in. Oh, good for Asia. 46-47. Needed an energy bucket. 3:06 to go. Now Porter edge of the circle. Hands off. Martin out front for 3. That nicks the front of the rim, and George collects the rebound. 56-47 the score. Keyshawn George, top of the arc. Left corner Middleton drives baseline his runners off the rim. Sarr got the rebound, and then a foul on the Nets. Did you hear what I just said? Sarr got the rebound.
Yeah.
There needs to be, that's the second rebound of the second quarter only for the Wizards.
You know, from what I'm seeing, the Nets don't have your stereotypical, prototypical point guard. Press, get up, and create some havoc with your defense. Turn them over a little bit.
Left sideline, George. Into Coulibaly. Back to George. Bends, left elbow. Harassed by Mann. And now, hash mark on the left wing, Coulibaly. Zaire Williams on him. Coulibaly splits the defenders. Foul line. Right corner, Sarr for 3. It's there! Oh, it's there! An 8-0 Wizards run. And now the Wizards getting back in this game. 56-50 Nets. That was great movement by Bilal Coulibaly. Edge of the circle now. Porter. Now front Day'Ron Sharp's back in. Top of the arc. Guarded by Sarr. Hand off to Williams. Bounce pass. Sharp. Euro step. And blocked the foul from behind by Alex Sarr. He's sandwiched in between Middleton and Sarr as he got in the paint. That's going to be 4 fouls on Alex Sarr. 2:15 to go in the second quarter. Sarr tonight, 9 points. And he's just got the 1 rebound. Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. And Marvin Bagley getting ready to come in for him.
Sharp makes the free throw. Back to a 7-point Nets advantage.
Got to get Alex going in the paint tonight, too. You know, they need some paint touches from him. They need some production from Alex in the paint.
57-50. No one coming for Day'Ron Sharp. Got it. All right, 58-50. Just watching 2 youngsters eating popcorn down below. You know, they're not worried about the score. Just give us that popcorn. Center circle now, Coulibaly. Shimmy shake cuts to his right. Capital One Arena logo. Feed out from Bagley. Now left wing McCollum for 3. No. And the rebound belongs to Michael Porter. The Wizards not getting second chances. Porter. Right corner Martin. Ball fake. Steps to his left. He shoots a 3 off the rim. Rebound. Middleton collects it with pressure from Sharp on his back. Middleton on court. Hash mark right wing. Middleton with his back to Terrence Mann. Backs in. Right block. Turns. Feeds out from McCollum. Point between the circles for 3. No. Bagley keeps the rebound alive, but it comes to Mann. 1:34 to go, and the Nets up by 8. 58-50. Mann. That's a point. On top of the arc, Sharp. Went to pass it to Porter. Broke it up by Middleton. But we're going to get a loose ball foul on Chris Middleton. Sharp fouling Middleton. And he grabbed him after Middleton came up with a steal. That'll be the Nets' first and last 2 minutes. 1:25 left.
It was like a PI in football.
Yeah.
Held him.
Scott and Courtney is always on board from Greenbelt. Lovely Greenbelt, Maryland. Now, in the backcourt, McCullum crosses midcourt. Hash mark left wing George. 16 on the clock. George puts the ball on the floor, bounce past to Bagley at the point. Bagley hands off to McCullum. McCullum, right elbow, right side of the lane, spins, back up front, Coulibaly, ball fake, left elbow, drives, under the basket, Bagley, and he's fouled. Missed the reverse layup, but the ball was popping.
What a great pass by Bilal Coulibaly. And Dave, when he gets in attack mode like that, he drew two people on him and found Bagley underneath. And that's what I want to see more of from Bilal Coulibaly. Attacking the rim. If he's got a lane, go in and dunk it. But he's thrown some nice passes on penetration tonight.
58-50 Nets, 1:05 left, second quarter. And Bagley makes the free throw. 58-51. As Justin Champagnie. This is a good substitution, I think.
I like it too.
You bring him in, things are going to get stirred up.
Yep.
In a positive way. Replaces Keyshawn George.
They need a little shot of vitamin B here, just defensively coming out. You know, look, there's 1:05 left, but coming out in the second half, you know that's what Brian Keefe's going to tell his team. We got to get after the ball, bring the ball up, turn them, you know, get in the passing lanes. Let's get some steals. Let's get the running transition game going.
Bagley missed the second free throw, so it stays a 7-point Nets advantage. 1 minute to go, first half. Man to Sharp, top of the arc. Hands off to Tyrese Martin, left at the top of the key. Off a screen. His pass deflected by Justin Champagnie. Go. Intended for Michael Porter. Goes out of play. It'll stay with the Nets, but, you know, he gets involved in the passing lanes. You're going to notice Justin Champagnie the minute he comes in a game. Martin, right sideline inbound for the Nets. Feed to Porter in the restricted arc, and he is fouled and one. I mean, he caught it under the basket. Almost should have just given him the 2 points because not much Middleton could do there. So 18 now for Porter, who averages 23. Nets lead 60-51. And again, for the Wizards, after giving up 81 to Houston in the first half on Wednesday, this is not the kind of performance you wanted in the first half.
Michael Porter Jr. moves so well without the ball. You know, you play him one way, he's going the other way on a screen, knows how to move.
Right of the circle, McCullum. 42 seconds left. Now we have a whistle. It'll be against the Brooklyn Nets, and we'll be shooting. Zaire Williams gets called for the foul. So Chris Middleton will go to the line to shoot two. So we're shooting the rest of the way here in this first half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Jonathan Morris NBA trivia. We'll try to stump Brian Allen and Chase Hughes. Free throw made by Chris Middleton. He's got 6 points tonight for the Wizards. Wizards led in scoring by Keyshawn George at 12 of his 14 points in the first quarter.
Michael Porter Jr., Dave, he's 6 of 7, and he's 6 of 6 from the free throw line.
61-53 the score. Working left to right, Terrence Mann in the backcourt for the Nets. Shadowed by Justin Champagnie. Mann in the center circle. Dribbles to his left. Now Porter. Point between the circles for three. Off the rim. No. Rebound inside Sharp. Bank and score. Day'Ron Sharp got in between two Wizards. Got the ball. 2 points. 63-53.
They're just getting out work
that's
right
just,
now.
out working. McCullum, center circle. 15 on the shot clock. There's a 3-second difference shot clock, game clock. Down to 10 seconds. McCullum still on the dribble. Bagley comes out to set the screen. McCullum now picked up by Sharp. 3 seconds. McCullum, foul line, gets in the lane. Feed left corner, Champagnie for three. Air ball. 24-second violation. All right, well, that was not the play you wanted. 63-53, Nets. So there's going to be 3.2 seconds left for the Nets from the backcourt. The Nets' biggest lead in this one, 14. They lead it by 10 right now as we inch toward halftime. Quick pass in the man, midcourt, 1 second at the edge of the circle for three, off the rim, though.
Coming out in the second half, the Wizards got to set the tone defensively. They got to ramp up the intensity on defense, put more pressure on the ball out top, and start getting into guys.
There's the prescription from Dr. Consort. Chase Hughes, what do you have for us?
Yeah, not a great first half overall, guys. The Wizards did shoot well from three, though, 40%. And that's been a trend for them this year. They're 10th in the NBA in three-point percentage after being 29th last year. And what's interesting to me is they're actually generating fewer open looks than they did last year. They're just making them at a much higher clip. On wide open threes, they're shooting 40%, when last year they were only making about 35.5%. So it could be something to watch. It might not hold up as the sample size grows, or it could be a sign that their player development program is working.
And we hope it's the latter. Chase Hughes is back with Brian. NBA Trivia next. 63-53 Nets at halftime on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Dave Johnson back with Glenn Consor at Dave J Sports at Glenn Consor. Use that hashtag Radio Party if you desire. All right, 63-53, the Nets lead at halftime. We mentioned the rebounding is a big swing in the Nets' favor along with the score. Say it again, Glenn Consor. What do you want to hear?
Well, you got to do a better job on the boards. Obviously, 25-14 advantage. Not going to get it done, but you got to put pressure on the ball handlers out there. And you see CJ starting this game out with full court pressure. Got to get physical on the perimeter. You got a rookie in Yegor, and make him work a little bit.
Now Coulibaly's on Yegor Dioman, who comes off a screen. Foul line, right wing outside the arc. Man for three, no. And Coulibaly, boy, he climbed and snared that rebound. That's a good start. Coulibaly, left elbow, left corner McCollum, ball fake, drives, crossover, goes reverse, scores. Oh, C.J. McCollum slaloming through, 63-55.
Couple of snake dribbles in there with the crossover.
Yegor Dioman, right at the top of the key, the rookie guard from Brigham Young. Foul line, Terrence Mann, chased out of the paint, goes out to Michael Porter Jr. for three off the back of the iron, and Middleton gets that rebound, 63-55. Now Keyshawn George, hash mark left wing, driving, jab step, fade, and good. He used the jab step for separation, gets the 2 points. Yegor Dioman, the foul, 63-57, and that's the way to come out of halftime.
And that little bump to step back move where he draws contact is really his signature move now, because he's so long and tall. He's got that high release point. I want to see him do that more often.
And make the free throw as well. So Keyshawn George has 17 points now. And the Wizards are within 5, 63-58. Terrence Mann in the backcourt, right of the center circle, guarded by McCollum. Now Dioman, edge of the circle, left at the top of the Claxton, guarded by Alex Sarr. Claxton, bounce pass, cutting Dioman, bank and scores. He sliced down the right side of the lane. His first 2 points, 65-58 Nets, 10:42 to go, third quarter. Now Coulibaly, right of the center circle. Middleton, left of the center circle, guarded by Clowney. Middleton puts the ball on the floor, hash mark left wing, top of the key, foul line, bounce pass to Cutting, Sarr going for the slam, bank, and no, and Claxton gets a rebound. As Sarr was double teamed. Claxton, hash mark left wing, gives the Porter, lob for Claxton. Claxton is back to McCollum, turns, jump hook on the baseline left with the left hand is good. 67-58 Nets.
They drew a mismatch with McCollum on Claxton inside.
Out front Coulibaly, double team, whips it right corner McCollum, steps to his left. Back up front Keyshawn George for three, it's there. He's got 20, and the Wizards now back within 6, 67-61. 9:55 to go, third quarter. Now out front Claxton, top of the arc. Hands off to Porter. Porter, top of the key, rises, got him. 21 for Michael Porter Jr., 69-61.
He's a patient cutter. Waits for the screen.
Out front edge of the circle, Keyshawn George cuts to his right. Top of the key goes at Claxton, driving, and Claxton the block. And the block out of bounds. He switched it from the left to the right hand as he came down the left side, but Claxton able to block it. And again, the Nets blocking shots tonight.
Well, they're doing a great job on Alex Sarr, meeting him at the rim.
Out front, Alex Sarr, top of the arc, driving on Clowney, spins. Now gets outside the restrictor arc, back out front, George, point between the circles for three, rims out, and Noah Clowney gets a rebound. 69-61 Nets, 9:21 to go, third. Man on the right wing, hands off to Porter. Porter, foul line, drives, bank, no, but draws a foul as he just glides into the paint. All right, the Wizards had a quick response. And now Keyshawn George picked up his third foul. That'll be the first team foul in the third quarter. 9:14 to go. Michael Porter Jr. at the free throw line makes it. So he's probably going to go over his average tonight. Again, 23 points is his average. In fact, he's going to reach it right here if he makes both free throws.
So efficient tonight, MPJ. 7 of 10, 1 of 4. And he getting to the free throw line. He's 7 of 8.
Yeah, missed the free throw, 70-61. McCollum drives, gets in the paint, draws a foul on either Yegor Gilman or Terrence Mann. I think it's Gilman. Mann was behind him. All right, attack the paint. That's a good sign. 70-61. The Nets. C.J. McCollum had a big flurry of games last week.
Yes, he
remember,
did.
He had 42 in our game against Detroit. A couple 25-point performances last weekend. So McCollum, free throw good. 70-62.
I'd like to see Chris Middleton catch fire a little bit. Quiet.
Yep. Another one coming for C.J. McCollum. He's got 6 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists on the night. And he makes that one. All right, 70-63. Nets, 9:06 to go. As Glenn said at halftime about defense, how this team plays defense in the second half. Talking about the Wizards. Man left the circle. On him is Coulibaly. Now Claxton point between the circles. Hands off to Michael Porter. And he's frustrated by Coulibaly. Gives left to the top of Claxton. Drives on Sarr. Bobbles the ball. But Sarr gets his fifth. No, it's going to be Coulibaly. I thought Sarr was going to get his fifth foul.
That was a good defensive segment till he reached. Play D with your legs.
That's his first. Second team foul. 70-63. The Nets on top. Side out for the Nets. Left sideline working right to left. Yegor Gilman out front to Claxton. Top of the arc. Puts the ball on the floor. Drives on Sarr. Gets in the restrictor. Goes for the slam. It rattles out. But this will be Sarr's fifth.
Oh, man. And you know what? That's good coaching. You know, Jordi Fernandez, the coach of the Nets, said go at Sarr, get him an early 5, and that's exactly what they did. Isolation.
All right, so Claxton tried to bring down a dunk. Sarr defending the rim.
And that could have went either way. That could have been also a no foul. And
well, they're
that's what I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't think he fouled him there, but because Claxton came down with the dunk, it looked like he was fouled, but he might not have been.
Well, we're going to find out. There's a review. Is Brian Keefe and company challenge you to call? Hey, we hope your challenge is to stay with us. Back in a moment. Nets 70, Wizards 63 on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Hey, Johnson back with Glenn Consor. Again, the Wizards pulled this win out. It is $2.50 Big Mac tomorrow on the McDonald's app. 70-63. The Nets, though, right now lead this game. And as always, we appreciate the fact that we're brought to you by Capital One, offering checking and savings accounts with no fees or minimums. What's in your wallet? And we have a special guest tonight in our Wizards broadcast studio with Brian Alvin, as he was a successful graduate of WRGW, the George Washington radio station. Of course, Brian is not only such a valuable member of the Wizards broadcast team, but play-by-play voice of Capital City Go-Go. So we appreciate all the folks from WRGW joining us.
Well, you know what? They're in studio with him. Do you think Brian will sign there and give out autographs? I don't know. I'm struggling with that concept.
Well, wait till the students see the bill that Brian sends them. So that we just had the challenge. It was it's a big challenge because Alex Sarr, if it's unsuccessful, and it was unsuccessful, it is his fifth foul.
Yeah, and Marvin Bagley's immediately in.
Yeah. As Sarr was defending the rim on Claxton. So Claxton will get a line to shoot two. Nick Claxton tonight, by the way, Glenn, has 3 blocks. Alex Sarr, a rare situation. He is third in the NBA in blocks at 2.3. He does not have a block tonight. And again, Alex Sarr, most in the NBA, 10 multi-block games. Free throws made by Nick Claxton. 71-63 Nets.
Only 2 rebounds from Alex. Just could not get it going. This was one of those games kind of got away from him a little bit. And look, he still has some time left to get back in and contribute. And he will.
72-63 Nets. Wizards working left to right. Coulibaly, edge of the center circle. Coulibaly gives him McCollum to his left. McCollum driving, splits the defenders, the basket. Right hand, left side, scores. 72-65.
That was nice. He sliced through 2 defenders.
Now, Terrence Mann, right of the center circle. Capital One Arena logo on the right side. Claxton at the point between the circles. Gives now left the top to Clowney. Back to Mann. Mann right elbow driving his 2-drop. Pass to Claxton who slams it and won. 74-65. I thought it was going to be a shot, but Claxton grabbed it, scored it, and Marvin Bagley gets called for the foul. So Nick Claxton is becoming a headache all of a sudden.
Yes.
With 12 points, got 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 block shots. 74-65 Nets.
What we're seeing too, Dave, is as he makes the free throw, a lot of paint points. Brooklyn's up 30-22 in that paint point category. That's got to change.
10-point net lead. Their biggest lead was 14 in the second quarter. McCollum to Bagley, right elbow. Puts the ball on the floor. Finds left corner George. Had to reach for the pass. Drives baseline. And it went off his foot. As Keyshawn George was driving baseline left, went off his foot. 7:52 to go, third quarter. We just have to share with you. It's not a good vibe right now.
No, it's not. The Wizards cannot get their running game going. They only have 3 fast break points.
That's it. And that was one of your keys tonight.
Yep.
As right elbow man to the basket, and McCollum knocked it out of his hands, but a whistle.
And you got to get stops without fouling.
Yeah.
That's...
So McCollum gets called for the foul, 75-65. And you mentioned stops without fouling, as the Nets are 17 of 24, while the Wizards are 12 of 14.
Yeah.
So
Brooklyn's defending without fouling, and it's been effective.
Nets have 2 fouls this quarter. The Wizards are already over the limit, and we have 7:38 left in the third quarter. I know I can stop anytime you want me to, because it's not positive for the Wizards right now.
Still a long way to go. They could change it with their defense. That's the key.
Hey, Allison Bod checking in from his Uber runs and listening. And anyway, big shout out to all the Uber drivers out there, Lyft, whatever you're driving. We appreciate you listening. Hash mark left wing George, 77-65. Middleton drives, left side of the lane, shoots over corner and scores. All right, back to a 10-point game, 7:21. Third quarter, listen for the defense. Right of the circle man, now to Claxton, edge of the circle. Feeds a cutting Clowney, broken up by Middleton. There's the defense. George gets it, center circle. Keyshawn, foul line. Top of the strict arc, flips up his shot, gets it to go. Defense to offense, 22 for Keyshawn George. All right, 77-69. Right of the circle, Dielman. Center circle, Claxton.
Better pressure out top.
Now, edge of the circle now, hash mark left wing man. Dielman, top of the arc, driving. Right wing Clowney, ball fake, steps into the right corner, shoots a 3, no. Good box out by Coulibaly on Porter. And now Coulibaly escapes Porter, although we have a whistle. And this is not against Porter. It's an offensive on Keyshawn all the way on the other side of the court. It was in front of the Nets bench. That's 4 on Keyshawn George. I was almost thinking Porter was going to get called for foul, because he was almost tripped up Coulibaly, but Coulibaly escaped.
Returning for the Nets is Zaire Williams.
Well,
and that hurts.
I mean, you've got Alex Starr with 5 and Keyshawn George with 4. 6:39 to go, third quarter. I know I should have taken heartburn medicine today. 77-69.
That's your pancreas.
Not good. Now Claxton at the point between the circles. Hands off to Porter. Porter out front. That should be for 2. He had his foot inside the line, but he still scores. 10-point lead, 79-69. Now McCollum, right wing Kispert. Into the right corner, Coulibaly. Puts the ball on the floor, guarded by Porter. Bounce pass, cutting McCollum. McCollum throws it down the wing to Middleton. Catch and shoot for 3. Rims out. Claxton gets the rebound. Again, the Wizards are not getting second chances. Now up court comes Mann. Terrence Mann. Left elbow driving to the basket. Coulibaly the block. Bagley gets a block ball. Now Bagley looks for an option. 79-69. And then, as Bagley was driven up court, throws it away in an unforced error.
Yeah, unforced turnover. You can't do that. Right now, there is a 28-19 advantage overall on the boards. And that number, really equates to the score. It's a 10-point advantage, 10-point game.
Yegor Dioman right of the center circle, guarded by McCollum, top of the arc. Now Nick Claxton. Claxton pivoting, looking for an option. It's Michael Porter. Out front, he will take a three. No. Bagley secures the rebound. All right, Wizards down by 10. McCollum off a Bagley screen, gets top of the arc. Right wing Coulibaly, back out front McCollum, right of the center circle. McCollum in that center circle, 12-second shot clock. Guarded by Yegor Dioman, the rookie. Driving. Step back three for McCollum. It's there. Oh, yeah. Pull the trigger. Bang. 79-72. Nets. That's 9 this quarter for C.J. McCollum.
He could score in bunches.
Claxton, top of the arc. Hands off to Dioman. Hash marking left wing. Top of the arc. Out front for 3-0. Swish.
Answers.
Yegor Dioman with the answer. Back to a 10-point game. 82-72. 4:59 to go third. Coulibaly, Capital One Arena logo on the right side. Crossover, drives. Oh, snap! Bill Wall, Coulibaly, the bang! 82-74. He just took it to the rack. Right of the center circle. Porter, down low, spinning Claxton, jump hook in and out. Bagley secures the rebound. Now that energizes the team in the crowd. He's slammed by below Coulibaly. Crossover by Middleton, left elbow. Back out front, top of the arc, McCollum for three. It's there! Signs of life in D.C. The Wizards, once down by 12 in this quarter, are within 5. 82-77, 4:25 to go in the third.
You ramp up the defense. You put some intensity into your offense. Look what happens. Blink of an eye. You're down 5.
Hey, Carolyn and Steven and Ryan, RC Buckets, our friend Ryan, checking in on the way home from dinner with out-of-town relatives. Welcome to D.C. And Sam points out we're within reach. Can the Wizards continue the momentum? 82-77 Nets. We appreciate the connection on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Dave Johnson back with Glenn Consor and you. 82-77. The Nets on top, and the Wizards showing some signs of life here in this third quarter. As we remember, we remind you, of course, to think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and services you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. And at MedStar Health, we're proud the Wizards continue to trust us as their medical team. How we treat the pros and how we treat you. MedStar Health, how we treat people. Hey, Robinhood brings you the official numbers, the official brokerage and jersey patch partner of the Washington Wizards. And our Director of Intelligence, Jonathan Morris, tells us third quarter, the Wizards outscoring the Nets 24-19, 6-12 from the field, 1-5 beyond the arc. The Nets, they're still shooting well, 9-13, but the Wizards, this is key. And this is what you want to go in console, 7-3 rebounding advantage in the third quarter.
Like that. Keep up that pace, that intensity, that focus on the boards, and again, put pressure on the guards. That's going to be the key to me. They don't have a traditional point guard out there. Make them pay for it.
Now Tyrese Martin stops the dribble in the backcourt pass to Zaire Williams. Post by Kispert. Williams just gets it across the timeline. It was turning into 16. Almost an 8-second violation. Great foul. Hash mark on the left wing. Now in the center circle. They are chasing on the perimeter. Foul line. Chase to the corner. Now feeds that corner Zaire Williams. Kispert's on him. A desperation three. A 24-second violation.
Very good
And
defense.
from start to finish, the Wizards got it done.
And where did it start, Dave? On the perimeter, in the backcourt. They kept up the pace. They kept up the pressure. They were able to turn guys, get their hands in the passing lanes.
82-77 Nets. 3:58 to go. Third quarter. Right of the circle, it's Carrington. Guarded by Drake Powell. Center circle, McCollum. On him is Tyrese Martin. Cuts to his right. Pass for Kispert's broken up. Now Kispert does get it. Drives into the restrict guard bank and score. A broken play fixed. 82-79, and the Wizards on a 7-0 run.
Right back in this bad boy.
That was not the way that play was designed, though.
Doesn't matter.
Now top of the arc, Sharp. Hands off to Porter. He's got the hot hand for the Nets, and he still does.
Boy, does he got
a three.
At least, man.
He's got 27, 85-79 Nets. It stops the 7-0 run by the Wizards. Bagley edge of the center circle. Goes at Sharp. Right elbow. Trucks into the restrict guard. Bank it. Score and one. Bagley attacked and scored. 85-81. And well done by Marvin Bagley. And again, necessary playing time for Bagley. Alex Starr with 5 fouls. Zaire Williams gets called for the foul in the Nets. Bagley at the free throw line.
That was a great example of his skill set, Dave. He caught that ball outside the elbow and just took it right to the basket with 2, 3, 4 dribbles. Switched it with the left hand. I mean, he's skilled offensively.
85-81 Nets. Bagley makes it a 3-point game. 3:13 to go here in this third quarter. Now the Wizards are trying to flip the script. Tyrese Martin, edge of the circle. Martin left the circle. Needs an option. At the point between the circle, Sharp. Guarded by Bagley. Bounce pass down low. Porter, jab, step, fades, right elbow. No. That'll bring back. Kispert is able to get it away from Sharp. Head down to McCollum. Left the circle. McCollum, crossover, foul line, teardrop runner in the lane is good. Wow, it is good. And the Wizards within one, 85-84.
He took it off the dribble with one hand, didn't put two hands on it, and then threw up a teardrop.
And Kispert knocks it away from Drake Powell as he drove the paint. McCollum escapes Powell in the backcourt. McCollum, top of the arc, left elbow, couple pump fakes, shovels Kispert left corner for three. No.
Yes, Corey's playing really good defense.
Day'Ron Sharp now dribbles through the center circle. Porter out front, top of the arc, foul line. Floats it up for Sharp. He tried to score it to the basket. The rebound, Carrington. Ahead to Whitmore. Whitmore going at Zaire Williams, and Zaire Williams has tied him up. That was a good play by Zaire Williams.
Yeah, it was also a good pass by Bub. You know what Cam Whitmore didn't do, Dave, when he caught it? He didn't change direction. Change direction, you get that angle. He went right at the defense, and he got tied up.
85-84 Nets. The Wizards are knocking on the door. I think that's a song there from some song. And that's from the Department of Redundancy Department, because it would have to be a song lyric from a song. Whitmore and Zaire Williams a jump at the foul line in the Wizards' offensive end. 2:10 left here in the third quarter. Ball in the air, and it goes out of play. The baseline should stay with the Wizards.
Yeah.
I think Williams is trying to knock it back to somebody.
It's Wizards ball.
Yep, it is. 19 seconds on the shot clock baseline left. The Wizards inbound the ball. So McCollum to handle the inbound from the baseline. McCollum all the way out to Bagley. Left the center circle. Hands off to Kispert. Kispert gives a McCollum edge of the center circle. 13 on the clock. McCollum will take a three over Zaire Williams. Short. Air ball. All right, 1:57 left, third quarter. 85-84. Nets on top of the Wizards.
One more extra pass on that possession would have got a bucket.
Trey Johnson is coming in. They're about to come in if they let him come in.
They're not letting him.
They're not letting him. All right. Now you are the first to know. Trey Johnson will come in.
Now he's coming in. He's coming in for CJ.
Well, I'm glad they cleared that up.
A lot of head fakes, trying to step over that line. Kept stepping over, coming back.
14 of McCollum's 17 points in this third quarter. And the Wizards have rallied after being down by 10 at halftime. Right of the center circle on the Joel Martin. Sharp, point between the circles. Bagley is on him. Puts the ball on the floor. Looking for a handoff option. Bagley still on him. Does hand off to, Zaire Williams. At Kispert clatters into him. The problem is the Wizards over the limit. They have been for about the last 5 minutes.
Wizards foul called against number 24.
The Nets, just 3 team fouls. 1:39 left, third quarter, 85-84.
Wizards are over the limit.
Zaire Williams, who's been a spark off the bench for the Nets with 9 points.
Really,
at the line.
Really like the contribution defensively that Corey Kispert has brought in this quarter. We're all over the place.
And that's really, we've not talked a lot about his hot shooting this year because he's not really had a breakout game like that, but his defense.
Much better, yeah.
And when he comes in, an offensive rebound. He's
a spark.
Yeah, he's been a spark. Free throw made by Zaire Williams, 86-84. Another one coming. He's got both. All right, 3-point Nets lead. Minute 39 left, third quarter. Bob Carrington in the backcourt off a Bagley screen. Pressure by Tyrese Martin. Bob Carrington rocking the cradle in the center circle. Now he's double teamed. Feed Bagley, top of the key. Bagley foul line. Back out front, Trey Johnson. Johnson, left wing for three. Off the rim, no. Long rebound, Drake Powell. 87-84 Nets. Powell. Edge of the center circle, top of the arc, foul line. Jab step in the paint, right wing Martin. He drives, go to the basket, scores. Right to the basket. All right, the Nets suddenly up by 5, 89-84 after the Wizards were within 1. Left the circle, Carrington off a Bagley screen. Bounce pass Bagley, foul line, his runner in the lane. Oh, doesn't get the touch. Rebound Clowney, 55 seconds left. Clowney, and back of them, Martin for three, buries it. And 3-point shooting continues to be a run story for the Nets. 7-0 run, 92-84, and now 11 threes made by the Nets. 42 seconds left. Nets building the lead back up. Carrington left the circle, guarded by Powell. Double team. Bagley left double. Left wing Whitmore, and he lost the ball, and it goes out of play. He went to make a move on Clowney, and the ball slipped out of Whitmore's hands. Well, 1-point game, but now the Nets are suddenly up by 8. And again, their biggest lead was 14. Their lead at halftime was 10. So all the Wizards' good work is evaporating. 29 seconds left in the third quarter. It's been a better one for the Wizards, but the score now not reflecting it. Right to left. Tyrese Martin, guarded by Coulibaly out front. And the pressure out front, that's got to be key. It's got to be paramount, as some would say. 10-second shot clock. Coulibaly on Martin. 7 seconds. Cuts to his left. Left elbow gets in the paint to the basket. Bank and score. Wow, 94-84. 6.7 seconds.
Got to go.
Didn't even come off a screen. Coulibaly coming up court. Driving to the basket. Underhand scoop shot. No. Battle for the rebound, and that's it. Oh, at one end, the Nets make a bunny. And at the other end, the Wizards miss one. All right. 94-84. Nets are where they were at halftime with a 10-point lead. Fourth quarter. It's got to change. Back in a moment on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Dave Johnson back with Glenn Consor. Fourth quarter on the way, but let's pause 10 seconds. Station identification on the Washington Wizards Radio Network.
You're listening to Washington Wizards basketball on WFED Washington and W232DG Sterling. Federal News Network, your home for Wizards basketball.
Hey, Chase Hughes, give me some defense.
Yeah, you wouldn't know watching this game tonight, in part because Alex Sarr's been in foul trouble, but the Wizards have seen some growth at protecting the rim this year. Last season, they allowed the highest field goal percentage in the restricted area of any NBA team, but this year, they're 7th best, dropping that percentage by about 6 points. Now, the problem is they're giving up the second most rim attempts in the NBA, so they need to get a lot better at preventing drives. But the numbers around the rim, I think, are a great sign of Sarr's development in particular, but also how Keyshawn George can impact the game as a help defender.
Good points. Unfortunately, both are in foul trouble right now as we go to the fourth quarter. 94-84 Wizards are down by 10 where they were at halftime. The Nets finished that quarter on a 9-0 run. Carrington now through the center circle. Another by Tyrese Martin. Now feeds Vucevic is in at the point between the circles. Left wing George. George to Carrington. Hash mark on the right wing. Carrington's going to take a three. It's off the back of the iron. Long rebound. Drake Powell gets it. All right, the Nets want to continue their 9-0 run. Out front, Claxton goes into Vucevic. Left of the trick guard, blocked by Vucevic. Ricochets out front to Tyrese Martin. 10-second shot clock. The shot clock did not reset. Now, Martin gets it stripped by Vucevic, and then an elbow went into Vucevic's face. And Vucevic goes down. So Tristan Vucevic out there trying to make something happen.
Yep.
Tyrese Martin does get the foul. 94-84. That's the first team foul in the Nets. Nets by 10, 11:22 to go. Now left the circle, Carrington. Vukcevic out front. Claxton's on him. Claxton pestering him, trying to steal it. Gives it George. Has Mark left wing, top of the arc. Carrington for three. Rims out. Claxton the rebound. Still a 10-point net lead. 11:06 to go. Fourth. Martin left the circle. Left elbow. Into the right corner. Clowney for three. Got it. And that is a 12-0 run for the Nets. And that is the 12-3 for the Nets. And they lead by 13, 97-84. Carrington out front, top of the arc. Vukcevic at the point, right of the center circle. Trey Johnson. Johnson left elbow, rises, shoots, scores.
Get hot, Trey. Get hot.
Need him. And Trey Johnson now with 4, 97-86. 10:36 to go, fourth quarter. Martin, center circle. Led by Carrington, comes off a screen. Tyrese Martin, right of the lane. Shovels back up front. Clowney for three. He's got it. That is the 13-3 for the Nets. 186. That matches their biggest lead. Right of the circle, Carrington. Carrington cuts through his left. His pass deflected, but saving it, Johnson whips it. Well, he whips it into the stands. He was trying to find Keyshawn George in the corner. And look out, a ball boy, as that went sizzling by Keyshawn George. So Thomas and San Diego tuning in, hoping the Wizards can rally. 186 Nets, 10:08 to go. Tyrese Martin in the backcourt. Guarded by Trey Johnson. Now left the circle, Drake Powell. Guarded by Carrington. Cuts to his right off a Claxton screen. Powell on the dribble. Top of the key. Stop start. Drives. Down to the baseline left. Shoots off the rim. No. Kispert the rebound. 186 Nets. Trey Johnson comes up court. Left the circle, Carrington. Kispert. Kispert cuts to his right. Back to his left. Now Johnson edge of the circle. Top of the arc. Stop start left elbow. Out front, Vukcevic, ball fake, foul line, and runner in the lane is good.
Nice.
Tristan Vukcevic. Oh, thank you. 188.
The pump fake, got the defense up. Came in with a little teardrop. Nice.
Left the center circle. It is Tyrese Martin. Martin, guarded by George. Right at the top, Claxton. Vukcevic on him. Feeds a cutting Martin to the basket, and one. As 102-88. Wizards call a timeout. I think Bub Carrington got him from behind. All right. The Nets up by 14. And they make a free throw. They could have their biggest lead. Hang in there, gang. At Dave J Sports, at Glenn Consor on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Now to Claxton, edge of the circle. Feeds a cutting Clowney. Broken up by Middleton. There's the defense. George gets it. Center circle. Keyshawn. Foul line. Top of the restrict arc. Flips up a shot. Gets it to go. Defense to offense. 22 for Keyshawn George. All right, 77-69. And that's our Leidos defensive play of the game. It's presented to you by Leidos. And we need to hear more of that. And there's time for that. 9:17 left. The problem is the Nets lead the Wizards 102-88. Steam Fitters, who's out? Brought to you by Steam Fitters, UA Local 602, providing the best mechanical services and process piping systems. And, well, Michael Porter Jr., he is the Nets' leading scorer, and he does have 27 points. But also Nick Claxton, I believe, has been a problem with 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocked shots. Wizards are led by Keyshawn George with 22 points. He does have 4 personal fouls. C.J. McCollum was the story, scoring 14 of his 17 points in the third quarter when the Wizards got it to within 1 point. Unfortunately, the Nets closed the third quarter on a 9-0 run and brought a 10-point lead into this fourth quarter.
They stayed disciplined. Give the Nets credit. They stayed disciplined. You know, they stayed with it. Wizards went on a run and a couple timeouts and substitutions, and boom, they started making shots.
All right. If this free throw by the Nets is made, it will give them their biggest lead with 9:17 left. Keyshawn George is back in with 4 fouls. Vukcevic, Trey Johnson, Bub Carrington, and Corey Kispert. And we're talking about Steam Fitters, who was hot. Tyrese Martin now is 17 off the bench on 7-11 shooting.
As this clock keeps ticking down, Dave, 9:17 left here. This is not about trading baskets. No. It's not. This is about defensive stops, period.
103-88 Nets. Now George left the center circle. George at the point. Whips it right corner. Johnson, ball fake. Drives, right baseline. Shoots a short jumper. No. They ran him off the three-point line, but he couldn't get a two-pointer. 103-88, Nets. Now, Martin, edge of the circle. Top of the arc. Right wing, Drake Powell. Back up front, Martin, left the circle. And now we're going to get a foul, I think, on Trey Johnson, as he got tangled up with Noah Clowney. That'll be the third on Trey Johnson. So Alex Sarr, with 5 fouls, comes back in. C.J. McCollum comes back in. It's now time, or getting to be, with the Wizards down by 15 with 8:47 to go.
Alex Sarr and C.J. McCollum.
Nets ball on the left sideline, the hash mark. Martin into Clowney, top of the arc. Hands back off to Martin, left the circle, edge of the circle, Day'Ron Sharpe. Bounce pass to Martin, bounce pass back to Sharpe, goes for the slam, blocked by Alex Sarr. That was his first rejection. George, the trailing Johnson for 3. No. Just can't get the momentum bucket. 103-88 Nets. 8:28 to go. Into the circle, Sharpe. Goes back now to Martin, left wing Powell. Powell, foul line. Left wing to Martin. Martin attacks. Carrington gets under the basket. Right corner, Clowney for 3.
Big shot.
And he drains it.
That is a big, big shot. They use clock.
14th 3 for the Nets. 106-88. Out front, Carrington, edge of the circle. Now, feed left wing, George. Guarded by Clowney. George. Out front, intended for Carrington. Getting it, Martin. Hang on, stuff. 108-88, biggest lead for the Nets, and the Wizards call a timeout. 20-point net advantage with 7:55 to go, fourth quarter.
The only way to get back in this game is full court pressure, blitzing guys, double teaming, blowing up pick and rolls, blowing up dribble handoffs. Get aggressive. It's the only way.
7:55 to go, and the Nets, who started this quarter up by 10, are now up by 20. Back in a moment on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Johnson back with Glenn Consor. 7:55 to go here in the fourth quarter. Of course, we have the Michelob Ultra post-game show for you tonight with basketball talk. Not only this game, but the rest of the NBA with Ryan Alvin, Glenn Consor, and Chris Wright. We hope you continue with us on this basketball evening. We also want to remind you that you don't want to be on the defense against cancer. You can visit medstarhealth.org/prevent cancer to learn more and understand your risk. A simple screening, a life-saving choice. MedStar Health, it is how we treat people. Hey, listen, and maybe some of the folks that are visiting tonight from WRGW should listen, because this is for all DMV students. You can catch a Wizards game this season with our Student Rush ticket package. It's presented by Chick-fil-A. Starting at, you ready for this? Just $15. Students get a game ticket.
And Brian Alvin will pick it up.
Well,
for them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll let Brian get involved. But for $15, Glenn, listen to the deal. You get a game ticket.
Yeah.
And a Chick-fil-A meal voucher.
That's a great deal.
So you buy yours. You can do it online. WashingtonWizards.com/student rush. All right. Jonathan Morris, our director of intelligence, tells us in the fourth quarter the Nets outscoring the Wizards 14-4. And Noah Clowney has 9 points, 3 of 3 beyond the arc. That's another out. Left wing George, guarded by Clowney. Down the left block. George looking for an option out front. Middleton. A couple pump fakes right at the top of the key. Does he get the N1? No, but Drake Powell the foul. Didn't mean to rhyme, but just naturally does. 108-88, Nets 20-point lead. And all our numbers are presented to you by Robinhood, our great partner, the official brokerage and jersey patch sponsor of the Washington Wizards. Chris Middleton makes a free throw. Just flashed on the scoreboard. A reminder that he was a second-round pick in 2012, number 39. His motto is do the right thing even when no one is watching. That's why he's achieved the success he has in the NBA. Makes the first free throw, 108-89.
Got a chip. He's got a championship ring.
All right, 108-90, 7:38 to go, fourth quarter. Listen for the defense. That's going to make the difference if there is to be a one. Martin, guarded by George out front. Sharpe Left at the top of the key, guarded by Sarr, who has 5 fouls. Powell right at the top of the key, left wing, Williams. Left corner, Martin. Williams for 3 out front, in and out. Koulibaly skies and snares the rebound. Bilal now weaving up court. Left wing, Middleton. Middleton to the elbow. Down to the block. Spins to the baseline left. Shoots. Scores! Chris Middleton showing his all-star form there. 108-92. 7:05 to go. There's still time. But you need to, let's start with 3 stops in a row. Martin, edge of the circle. Now front left wing, Drake Powell. 8 on the clock. Over to Martin. Hash mark right wing. Stop start foul line. Going to the basket. Flips it up. Misses the shot. Altered by Alex Sarr. Now Middleton to George. Top of the arc for 3. It's there. Oh, it's there. A 7-0 Wizards run, and now the Nets call a timeout. Well, Sarr didn't block the shot, but he altered it.
Might as well.
And then George, a 3, and the Wizards showing some signs of life. There's life. 108-95.
Plenty of time left.
Now 6:35 left. That's plenty. Back in a moment. And I hope you stay there on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Rick Johnson back to the Glenn Consort. And you here at Capital One Arena. Now 6:39 left. The Wizards have made it a 13-point game on a 7-0 run. So, the Nets call a timeout. Critical juncture. Alex Sarr soldiering on with 5 personal fouls. Sarr tonight quiet because of those fouls, but the one that jumps out at me is just 2 rebounds for Alex Sarr.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's way off his average.
Well, also, during that period, the Wizards came back. MPJ was not in the game. Now he is. So Wizards got to lock in on him.
That would be Michael Porter Jr. He of 27 points tonight.
Now Bilal's got him, not Keyshawn.
Keyshawn is on Terrence Mann. As Mann crosses the midcourt on the right side. Capital One Arena logo. Claxton, edge of the circle. Sarr on him. Back to Mann. 12 on the clock. Mann on the dribble, left of the circle. Feeds Michael Porter. Top of the key. Koulibaly on him. 6 on the clock. Claxton. Right out a foul line. In the lane. Banks and scores.
Tough shot.
The block attempt.
Well defended.
Yes. 110-95 Nets. Koulibaly on the right wing of the hash mark. Feeds Sarr. Top of the arc. Hands off Koulibaly at the point. Right corner McCollum drives, cut off on the baseline. Sarr, right wing for 3, rims out. Claxton had position in the rebound. 5:55 to go, Nets by 13. Clowney, top of the arc. And the hot hand, right wing Zaire Williams for 3, off the rim. Long rebound, George secures. Ryan Keefe wants him to push the pace. George driving on Williams, left elbow in the restrictor arc, flips of a shot, scores!
Nice.
Deshaun George. 27, 110-97. All right, the Wizards a 9-0 run right now. Now front Mann. Run by Koulibaly. Mann, Capital One Arena logo, right side. Feeds Clowney, right wing. 9 on the clock. Right elbow lob in the lane for Claxton. Broken up by Sarr. Comes out to Clowney. 4 on the clock. Middleton is on him. And ball knocked out of play by Middleton with 1.9 seconds left, and it'll be Nets ball. Great defense.
Really good defensive segment. They switched on everything, and it confused Brooklyn.
All right sideline. It will be Mann to inbound the ball. Near the hash mark. Gets it into Porter in the corner. His shot is no good, although he was wide open.
Oh, man.
Only was 1.9 on the clock. Now Middleton. And they got a shot off. Koulibaly out front. Attacks, drives, jab step, spins, flips up the shot short. Alex Sarr battles for the rebound, but getting in is Terrence Mann. And then Alex Sarr gets his 5th foul. Well, pardon me, his 6th foul. As Terrence Mann got tangled up with Alex Sarr, and then Alex Sarr had to be restrained. There was some jawing going on. I think Alex Sarr may have thought the contact was initiated by Mann.
Yeah, we don't need a technical here. Alex has to be very careful. He still was talking on the way out of the game.
So the referees will have a conversation about this with 4:56 to go. Alex Sarr did get his 6th foul. So they're going to review the action after the foul was called. Now, Mann was on the floor. And there appeared to be some jawing between the two of them. What's under review if it's a transition take foul? So this was deep in the backcourt, but it might be. So that is under official review. With 4:56 left in the game. Alex Sarr's night is done.
And that hurts because, he's starting to, protect the paint better, protect the rim better, help his guards out better in this quarter.
All right, look at the replay. Alex Sarr fouled him. And what he was upset as, Alex Sarr went to walk away, and Terrence Mann kind of half-heartedly tripped him. And then Sarr turned, and words were exchanged between the two while Mann was on the floor.
What kind of words?
I don't. It
wasn't like are we going to dinner?
No, I don't think it was. That was the nature, the subject matter of that conversation. Just speculation on my part, but I don't think so. All right, with 4:56 left, the Wizards still have time, but you have to credit the Nets tonight. Glenn, I look at this number. 54%. It's not gone down. And this is a Nets team that's made.
After review, we have an unsportsmanlike technical foul, number 14, man, for unsportsmanlike contact that he wraps his feet around the other player. And the transition take foul will stand.
Yep. So I think technical on both, I thought, or just Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann got the technical, but it was a take foul by Alex.
All right. So that Mann, the unsportsmanlike conduct, as I said, he kind of, was on the floor and extended his leg to, I say half-heartedly trip him. You're not going to bring down a person of Alex Sarr's size with that kind of trip attempt. But it is a transition take foul. Technical, though, is Chris Middleton to take the technical. And this would make it a 12-point game. And he makes it 110-98. Nets by 12.
Nets going to shoot. Michael Porter Jr.
For the transition take foul. So Justin Champagnie comes in. And again, I know fans out there listening, and just such great fans of what Champagnie brings to the team. As Michael Porter makes the free throw. 111-98 to score. From the backcourt. And it will be Zaire Williams.
There's still time. There's still time. It's still reachable, but you got to value every possession and every defensive possession you got to value. Get stops.
Living on the fault line right now. Man edge of the circle. Right at the top to eat. Claxton. Hands off to Michael Porter. Guarded by Coulibaly. He's all over him. Feed to Williams to the basket. Bank and score. Eluding the block from behind by McCollum. 113-98 Nets. 4:33 to go. Right corner Middleton. Drives. Baseline gets under the basket. Circles the left elbow out by George. George. Head down. Foul line. Gets in the paint. And he was bear hugged by Clowney. And it was kind of a late whistle. I'm thinking, they got to blow it. So Clowney gets called the foul.
Dave, you think about how really I would say the whole second half has been inability to get stops. That's kind of what it is. Right. I mean, it's not like the Wizards are shooting horribly. They're not. They're shooting 45% from the field, 36% from three, 89% from the free throw line. It's about the inability to get stops and get your possessions back to get them back in this game.
Middleton and Keyshawn George, who's at the free throw line, have the last 11 Wizards points. 113-99 as George makes the free throw. Both of them. So Keyshawn George has 29 now.
Six rebounds and 5 assists. He's played well.
Terrence Mann, hash mark on the right wing. Remember, he had that big 34-point game against Dallas. Man, Capital One Arena logo. Top of the arc, Claxton. Left wing, Michael Porter Jr. for three. Oh, that hurt.
Boy, he has made every big shot for the Nets.
31 points, 116-100. Now left double Champagnie to the basket, and it's blocked by Claxton. I think that's Claxton's fourth block. Center circle. Claxton, foul line goes to George, knocks him down. A blocking foul by Keyshawn George, who didn't have position, and George, fifth personal foul. 3:51 to go, and the Nets have now gone up by 16. And that's why we mentioned Nick Claxton with his protecting the rim tonight for the Nets. 4 block shots go with his 15 points, and he's at the free throw line.
Michael Porter Jr. has been just spectacular tonight. 31 points on 10 of 16 shooting. 3 of 7 from 3. He's 8 of 9. He got himself to the line 9 times. And he's got 8 rebounds and 7 assists. That's a tremendous game.
Claxton makes it 117-100, 118-100.
Jordi Fernandez was really praising what a good passer MPJ is.
Right of the circle, George. Coulibaly out front. Cuts to his left. George at the point. Drives. Jab step. Fades beyond the arc. Off the back of the iron. No. And a rebound, Terrence Mann. 118-100. Nets by 18 with 3:32 left. Terrence Mann now right of the center circle. Cuts to his right hash mark, right wing, driving, right block, and we'll get a foul by C.J. McCollum. And let's face it, Glenn, the Wizards have not been able to defend without fouling tonight.
Yeah.
The Nets are 25 of 32.
They've struggled defensively tonight, Dave. You're 100% spot on. It's defending without fouling, and it's just the inability to stop paint points, stop Michael. Michael Porter Jr. came into this game 22nd in the NBA in scoring. Yep. You got to lock in on him, and he had his way.
119-100, the free throw made. Again, the Nets' biggest lead was 20. So the Nets threatening to get in that territory again. As Wizards make some substitutions. The Wizards started this week. Let's face it, they should have won the game in Detroit, but it doesn't. I mean, that was a competitive game. They really, I don't want to say shut down Cade Cunningham. He had 46 points, but they made him work for it. He missed an NBA record 31 shots in that game. But last 2 games, a lot to be desired from a team standpoint. 120-100. Keyshawn George out front, guarded by Terrence Mann. George left elbow driving to the basket, blocked by Noah Clowney. It's then saved by Michael Porter. Comes out to Claxton. 3:06 to go. The Nets have been blocking plenty of shots tonight.
Yep.
Now the feed to Claxton, broken up by Vucevic. A chase for it. Martin gets it. Tyrese Martin too fast for Vucevic. Martin now, top of the arc. Left wing Michael Porter for 3 off the back of the iron. No rebound. Ricochets out front to Terrence Mann. And left wing Porter, he drives, gets inside of the Victor arc, and 1. A new season high for Michael Porter. And now Keyshawn George on that play fouls out. 122-100, biggest lead for the Nets with 2:44 to go.
Really has been the Michael Porter Jr. show here tonight. 33 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds. Yep. He's done everything.
Well, this has been just a frustrating night. Keyshawn George, ends up fouling out on a night when he scored 29.
And Alex fouled out and couldn't really get into the flow of the game at all, offensively or defensively.
Hash mark left wing, Trey Johnson. Johnson, top of the arc. A.J. Johnson's now in. On the dribble, A.J. attacks. Foul line, drives to the basket. Missed the layup. Champagnie keeps the rebound alive, but comes to Terrence Mann. 2:24 to go. 4th quarter. The Nets up by 23, looking at position to win this. Only their 2nd win of the year. In the right corner, intended for Porter. Broken up by Trey Johnson. As the Wizards were hoping to say goodbye to a 10-game losing streak. I don't think that's going to happen tonight. The Nets are going to their bench. So the Wizards, it's not going to get easier as we will go on the road this week for Minnesota, Toronto, and Chicago. 3 games in 4 nights, if I'm doing my math correctly. But this is a journey. We knew it's not going to be easy. Right sideline in front of the Wizards bench. Powell to inbound the ball. Yeoman. Now it comes out front. E.J. Little. And off the back of the iron, no. Back to Yeoman. Another chance from distance. Etienne takes the 3. No. Vucevic gets a rebound. So Tyson Etienne is in. 2 minutes left. Champagnie. Ball fake. Right block. Gets in the restrict arc. Flips up the shot. And a foul as he goes into attack mode. As Tyson Etienne I believe, pardon me, E.J. Little getting called for the foul. 123-100, 157 to go. Nets scored 63 in the first half. There was a 63-53 halftime lead. When the Wizards, let's think about the Dallas game, for example, on the road. When they come out and set the tone defensively early, they give themselves a chance.
Spot on.
Tonight they didn't.
Nope.
And you, even when the game is close, but you're not feeling that defensive intensity, you feel like they're treading water. Both free throws made, 123-102. Right to Etienne, crosses left the circle. Off a Dielman screen, but he gets it back after it's knocked loose by Johnson. Liddell gets it to Dielman at the Capital One Arena logo. Minute 42 left. Feed out front, Etienne. Crossover, foul line, down the left block. And back out front, Dielman. He off 1 foot takes a three at the shot clock buzzer off the back of the iron. Vucevic went for the rebound, couldn't corral it, goes out of play. This is not ending well, put it frankly. The Wizards
have been outscored in the fourth, 29-18.
And the Nets tying a season high with 30 assists tonight. So
they moved the ball, they shared it, made it the extra pass.
Well, it's a Nets team that averages 108 points a game. Tonight they scored 123. Diego Dielman, now right wing outside the arc. Jalen Wilson for three. And why not? Join the three-point party. 126-102. That's 16 threes, Greg. Inbound passes broken up and stolen by Powell. Etienne right wing for three. No. Vucevic grabs the rebound. A minute 13 left. Johnson, right elbow. A hesitation move right over the figure right bank and score.
Wow. Looked like a slow motion.
Trey Johnson froze everybody. 126-104. The Michelob Ultra post-game show coming up. Lively basketball talk with Glenn, Brian, Chris Wright. Chase Hughes will also join us before we finish our broadcast. Liddell left wing outside the arc for three. Off the rim, no. A.J. Johnson grabs the rebound. Court now to Justin Champagnie. Hash mark left wing attacks. Dielman gets in lane to the basket. Finger roll scores. All right. 126-106, 41 seconds left. If you're going to hear Will Riley tonight, he's with the Capital City Go-Go as they have their weekend in College Park, Georgia. The Atlanta Hawks G League team. When you hear College Park, you think Maryland. Now, final 26 seconds. Etienne for three. 17 three-pointer. 129-106. The Nets on top. Final 24 seconds, but those three-point shots.
17 of 41. That's 41% for the Nets shooting three tonight. Wizards going to dribble it out. Some more learning moments, Dave. I mean, this is, I think this, you're going to look at the game film here, and Brian Keefe's going to go over it with them and say, you know what, guys? Forget about offense. There's a lot of things we could have done differently offensively, but defensively, you don't have that intensity. We're not turning the ball over. We're not mucking it up. We're not going to win many games, and that's kind of where it lands.
The buzzer. Well, the Wizards are a team that they want to get it and go. Well, that's rebound. You got to get it first before you can go. All right, my friends, we're come to an end here of this game, but not our broadcast, not our Sunday night fun. 129-106. Nets win over the Wizards. Back to get you set for that Michelob Ultra postgame show on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. Johnson back here with Glenn Consor, and boy, we love Chase Hughes and Bajan Todd from their Off the Bench podcast. They were part of our pregame with their comparisons to Keyshawn George. But Chase, right now on your mind is Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, Dave, we just saw him check in late in the first quarter, and I noticed this week how he's doubled his assist rate this year. So I asked him and Brian Keefe for their theories on why, and they both gave the same two reasons. One is continuity, because this is technically his third year in Keefe's offense, and with many of his Wizards teammates, he can make quick decisions because he knows the scheme and his teammates so well. And the second reason is because, as Keefe noted, the Wizards run a lot of their offense through the elbow, and Bagley said that is right in his wheelhouse.
Yep, and it is, because he loves to turn and face, sees the floor. You forget, Marvin Bagley's only 26 years old.
Yeah. This is Jen, always connected to the radio party. fun, and bedtime stories for the kids, too. Now, back to Dave and Glenn on the Washington Wizards Radio Network.
Quick pass in the man, midcourt, 1 second at the edge of the circle for three, off the rim, no.
Coming out in the second half, the Wizards got to set the tone defensively. They got to ramp up the intensity on defense, put more pressure on the ball out top, and start getting into guys.
There's the prescription from Dr. Consort. Chase Hughes, what do you have for us?
Yeah, not a great first half overall, guys. The Wizards did shoot well from three, though, 40%. And that's been a trend for them this year. They're 10th in the NBA in three-point percentage after being 29th last year. And what's interesting to me is they're actually generating fewer open looks than they did last year. They're just making them at a much higher clip. On wide open threes, they're shooting 40%, when last year they were only making about 35.5%. So it could be something to watch. It might not hold up as the sample size grows, or it could be a sign that their player development program is working.
And we hope it's the latter. Chase Hughes is back with Brian. NBA Trivia next. 63-53 Nets at halftime on the Washington Wizards Radio Network.
We're going to hang up a banner.
Another banner. Let's go Wizards. Wiz
Wizards Radio 24/7.
You're tuned into Wizards Radio 24/7, and on September 29th, training camp got underway with Media Day at Care First Arena. Head coach Brian Keefe, entering his second season as the full-time head coach, met with the media, and here is his conversation in full.
I think it's going to be a really healthy, competitive training camp. I think the league is going to more wings anyway, so we'll be able to experiment with lineups. We have versatility and can play in different styles in different ways. Obviously, the addition of Cam is great. Just another guy who can bring size, put pressure on the rim. But I think it just leads to a healthy environment where guys are going to get after it. They're going to compete. That's the type of guys we want in our building. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow and getting started.
With the young backcourt that you have, the young guards that you have, what are you trying to instill in them, especially on the defensive end? I'm talking about Trey and Bub in particular.
I think it goes for the whole roster. It's about building the right habits from day one. I thought we got better as the year went along last year, but tomorrow is a new day, and that starts with the habit building of how we want to play defensively. And, for those guys, they've got size. Bub this is year 2, so he'll make a jump, and then Trey's going to be learning as he goes. But we expect our guys to be competitive, to fight, to be gritty, the type of things that lead to a good defensive team. But it's habit building from day one, and you can't skip those steps, and that's what we're going to be attacking starting tomorrow.
And I asked Will about visiting the Commanders practice, and you obviously did that as well. He said you sat in on some meetings. So what was your experience like going there?
Yeah, I think it's always I ask a lot of our players to improve, and you have to recognize I got a lot of work to do myself, so you try to find outlets where you can grow as a leader, as a coach. Coach Quinn and his staff invited me to come out to practice, got to sit in with them, watch how they operate. Obviously really impressed in the environment, the culture that they're building. I think you can always learn stuff from other sports and different people, and it can be from non-sporting areas too. So it's just an opportunity for me to grow. Really thankful that they gave me an opportunity to be part of what they were doing for a day. Very cool.
Brian, development obviously goes across different areas and at different times, and people do it at different speeds. How will you measure development of this team this season in terms of building the habits that lead to winning ultimately?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. First of all, I think the way I can answer is that we've had a really tremendous offseason. We had a lot of days to get better. When you don't make the playoffs in the situation we are, so you have a certain amount of days that you can. And what was really proud of our guys is that how we attacked it purposely. I think we're starting to establish a standard for how we operate and do things here, how we work. And I think you guys obviously are seeing that too. We have guys who are returning from last year that I think helped establish that through the summer. A lot of our returning, I think we have 8 or 9 guys that were with me in training camp last year. So they started establishing how we do things, how we operate, how we work. And then we added guys, obviously our draft picks, and then some of our trades, and then free agency. We all have guys who love to play, but I think we've established a standard for how we work. also want to give a shout out to my coaching staff for all the tremendous work they did, but also this summer with our guys, but also our medical and performance staff. Tremendous amount of time and care and aid in helping our players' development. But I think that's how we judge ourselves, is that we are building a certain way we do things, a certain way we work. Now we have the opportunity to transmit that into games. And that's what really tomorrow starts for. That's the greatest thing about every team in the league at this time of year, is you all kind of start from zero. And you guys have heard me many times, and I will say this: when we're really good, it always starts from you got to go back to the basics. So we're going to establish a standard that we have already built of how we operate, how we work. Now that's time to really transform that to the game. And I think that's what we're looking for this year, is that how can we do that? I think it still goes back to what we do every day. I think we're going to see more of a transfer to the games for sure.
What will that look like on the floor if it's improving?
I think you're going to see. I think you saw this probably February 1st on for us last year. Competitive games, close-ended games. Some we won, some we lost. Establishing the brand we want to play, more defensive effort, more physicality. And then the style we want to play offensively, which I think you saw the ball moving, the ball was shared. We've talked about this, a lot of decision makers on our team who can initiate, handle, make plays. That's how we want to play. I think you're going to see more and more of that years, because now we're going into some of that corporate knowledge. We have that corporate knowledge that how we work, how we prepare, how we do things, but also how we play. So like I said, we got 9 guys returning that know the system, and then we're going to integrate some guys into it too that I think will be seamlessly into that. But we also know where we are, David. We know we're still at the beginning stages of establishing who we are, and we're not afraid to say that. And I think our fans know that we're going to put out the best effort every night, and that's what we're looking for every day.
Morning, BK.
Morning.
When you look at the defensive side of things, and I know you talk about the details and not skipping steps, but in the first, including preseason, let's say 20 games, what are some non-negotiable strides that you want to see taken starting tomorrow that we can start to see that progress being made?
This is probably our activity. I think I mentioned that stretch during that last year. I think we were 15th or 16th in defense, but it was disruptions, deflections, increased turnover rate, charges taken. I think our team will have growth in those things. We also have some youth in our team. That doesn't mean they can't go out there and defend, but there is a learning curve. We saw that from our initial guys at the beginning of last year with Alex and Bub and Keyshawn and Bilal being in year 2. Like, there's a learning curve to the NBA. And that's okay, because what we're trying to do is build them to be sustainable. That's the goal. No one's hiding that here. We're trying to build something that can be sustainable long term. So you're going to see guys are going to make mistakes. Is the course correction, how quickly can we eliminate those things? I think that we're going to get better and better at that. But we have a lot of guys we're going to see out there on the roster that have not experienced the NBA. So there's going to be a learning curve for them. But just like we saw with our guys last year, by the time they got to February, March, they were way better. And I think that's always what we're looking for, how we're going to be playing our best basketball at the end of the year.
And then you mentioned the amount of guys you have returning, but as well, too, you look at a guy like Chris, who you got mid-season.
Yeah.
Having him now healthy, the off-season being settled here, how much does it benefit with the young guys coming in, his leadership, but also understanding the system to try to alleviate some of those missteps or hiccups that you may experience?
Chris is terrific because he represents the type of person that we want. We want guys who love the game, who attack their craft diligently every day. So he just adds to what we are trying to already build. He's obviously had unbelievable success in his career and is a role model to our players in terms of how you operate, how you train, how you prepare, and then how you play in the games. I think our guys really leaned on him, so we're really lucky to have him. And obviously we've added CJ too, who's in the same mold. I just think those guys that we've added fit the culture of people we want in our building. guys who love the game, who care about their craft, and our team players. So we're excited to have both those guys.
Hi, Coach. Heather McDonough, NBC4. Good to see you. Couple for you. One, we just saw Bub out there doing his pictures and things, and one thing struck me. He was doing they said, do this, do that, pretend you're doing this, and they said, your 3-point celebration, and he said no. And then I said something to him just now, and he said, I get back on defense. I see a smile on your face. I mean, what does that make you think when you hear that?
Good coaching. That's that corporate knowledge. I'm joking, but he understands what we're doing, what we're about. Bub's got a great way about him, as you can tell. So he represents the competitiveness that we want in our group. That's what we love about Bub.
And there's a lot of young players players that just came here that fans may not know as much. What do you want to tell fans, I guess, that you know about this group so far? Maybe some that came last year, like you said. And is there an identity that you feel like they could be growing towards?
I think it's what our fans need to know is we have a culture of work. There's been a tremendous lot of work that's been done in the off season, all the way through September. Guys putting in a lot of hours in, but purposeful work. It's not stuff that's just haphazard. Things are very purposeful. There's a plan for these guys, and they're guys who care and want to get better. So the guys we added through the draft, and that's Trey and Will and Jameer, they fit our culture and what we're trying to build and the type of people we want in our environment. The guys are in the gym all the time. We feel that those are the guys who are going to help us build to be a sustainable winner. Obviously, they bring each unique things that they do in terms of their skill set, but the most important part is their character, and we're really impressed with their character.
A few more here. Hey, Coach. Will Dawkins told us last week that more had to be given than earned this year. How do you plan on enforcing that to the guys who've been through preseason before and the young guys who maybe haven't been in the NBA before?
I think it just starts in camp. I think that we talked about we have a pretty deep roster in a lot of ways in terms of some guys who are capable of playing and getting experience. I think a lot of that will be determined through training camp and how we build that out. But I think it will be a very competitive training camp, and I think that's always a good thing. Competition breeds improvement. You got to be challenged, and we're going to challenge each other. I'm going to challenge them. They're going to challenge me. And I think that's the way we're going to attack this training camp for sure.
Ready? With regards to the overall leadership dynamic, having those young players in year 1 and 2 last year, getting a lot of minutes on the court, what kind of vocality do you want to see from them, even with the experienced players on the floor? How do you balance that, if you will, to continue to pour into the younger players in terms of using their voices?
Sure. I think the biggest thing for me is that when we identified a lot of those guys, we talked about through the draft last year, the 3 guys we drafted, plus Bilal. We already have Corey on the roster. Then Anthony Gill has been here. Those guys are the ones who have established how we work. So when we bring in Will and Trey and Jameer, there's a standard for how we do things now. And that's really a lot of credit to our players on how they train, prepare, get after it every day very purposely. Those guys were going to do that anyways because those are the type of guys we want. But then when they walk in here, they're like, oh, this is a culture of work. This is an environment oh, this is intense. So everybody leads differently, but what I've been most pleased with, this is one of the things I've been most pleased with the offseason, is that all those guys played Summer League. They wanted to play Summer League. They wanted to improve. They wanted to set the tone for how we do things in practice. So when those guys came in here, they felt like, oh, this is how the Wizards operate, and that has continued through the rest of the summer. I think that's where their leadership stands out the most. Everybody's going to find their own unique voice, but to me, it's what you do on every day. Those are the real leaders, and I've been very impressed with the guys that we've brought in here and the example that they've shown this summer.
Finish it, go ahead.
BK, you and Will have both talked about the increased competition that you're going to see in training camp this year. What are the battles that you're looking forward to seeing play out?
Vroom, you always try to get me to say something specific, and I never answer those questions. No, I like to see all of it. I think that this is
sports is competition. They keep a score for a reason. I think for me, we're now getting to the stages of that. That's healthy. Like, we want to see that, and that's my responsibility as the coach, is to create an environment and training sessions that can do that. Keeping scores, rewarding defense, those type of things. Those are the only things I'm going to get. But anything specific, I think those things just come out in terms of, like, okay, who's going to separate themselves? Because eventually we're going to have guys who are going to do that. And I think that's what this year is about, and this is what these next 3 weeks is about for us.
We'll talk specifically about the wing battle with, Keyshawn having emerged late last year, Cam coming in. Bilal started most of last year. He's going to miss most of all of training camp. When he comes back from injury, is he going to slot right back into that starting spot, or is that something he's going to have to earn back?
I have not thought 1 minute about minutes or starting for anybody. All I'm focused on is the day-to-day. Tomorrow, we got practice. Probably pretty defensive-focused practice. We're going to attack that. Those things always kind of take care of themselves. I don't try to pre-plan those things. I'll come to that eventually, but Bilal will be a big part of what we're doing. I know that for sure.
You have a team largely comprised of players who are still looking for their first big NBA contracts. How do you manage that locker room dynamic?
Just the day-to-day. Like, you can't get ahead of yourself. If you're worrying about and thinking about those type of things, that usually doesn't go well. We focus on the day-to-day here. How can you get better every day? And I don't worry about that with our guys. It's not even a thought I would even have, because that's the type of people we have in our building.
Brian, what are your impressions of Cam Whitmore, and what do you want to see him focus on?
It's been great getting to know him as a person. Really enjoyed having him in our environment. It's obviously someone that we've thought really highly of. I know Will had probably talked about that in the draft process a few years ago. Someone we've kept an eye on. The physicality, his athleticism, his dynamic ability to attack the rim. But we're excited to see him in our environment. We're really pleased to have Cam.
In 2 seasons in Houston, Cam Whitmore averaged 11 points per game in less than 18 minutes per game over 98 appearances. We'll see if he gets a larger opportunity here in Washington, D.C., what he might be able to do on the offensive end. Continue listening to Wizards Radio 24/7 for much more coverage of Media Day, as well as training camp and preseason.
This is Dave Johnson, voice of the Washington Wizards, and we are so glad you're locked in right here. And stay here on Wizards Radio 24/7. And the Wizards have 10 players, 22 years of age or younger. Coulibaly edge of the circle, driving and right elbow to the fouls. Throwing it down the right hand. That'll draw your preserves. The Wizards go up 18-13. He didn't miss the dunk that time.
No, the bench went bananas because he missed that dunk where it hit the front of the rim. And you know what? Your teammates, they're going to get on you if you do that. Not that time. He brought it back, Statue of Liberty dunk, and punched it in.
A pair of thunderous jams from Bilal Coulibaly in his return to the lineup tonight, part of a 6.4 assist, 2 steal effort in 27 minutes. But the Wizards not able to have the homecoming for Coulibaly they were hoping for. They lose to the Nets 129-106 in Capital One Arena. Brian Albin here with you on the Michelob Ultra Post Game Show. The rest of the way, certainly when you were looking at the schedule, this looked like a great spot to potentially end the 10-game losing streak. A Brooklyn team coming into the night also with a 1-11 record, and on your home court breaking out the City Edition uniforms for the season. And for whatever reason, after the first quarter, things really just slid away from the Wizards, something that Brian Keefe talked about moments ago in his post-game press conference.
We started off okay. We were turning them over to start the game. But I think when adversity hit us, that's what I was disappointed at. We buckled to the adversity. We fouled when we shouldn't. We didn't dig in when they were made certain runs. This group has never done that. That was disappointing on all of our end. We have to own that. But that was the thing that was bothering me the most, is that once after the initial start of the game, which I thought we came out with the necessary mindset and attitude, once we got hit, we didn't respond well.
How did Alex getting into foul trouble, and Keyshawn for that matter, affect your paint defense?
Those things are factors, but we made silly fouls, so we got to own that. Like, we made some silly mistakes, and we fouled when we shouldn't. We grabbed guys when we shouldn't that contribute to the cause of those things. We got to play through those things. That's what we did not do tonight.
After a game where you say that the team did not respond well to adversity, what is the message that you have for them afterward?
I think we got to collectively look at ourselves, look inward. What can we do better? Come together as a unit. We have a good group of human beings, a good group of guys in our locker room. They're disappointed with what they did. I know that. We all are. We're all in this in the collective. But that's not up to the standard that we've established how we want to do things. We did not respond well tonight.
How do you try and change what the response looks like in-game as a coaching staff?
It's always things levers you're trying to pull. Obviously, we took some certain units out. We put some other guys in. We found a couple little runs there to help stave off the game, but we could never really get over the hump, and that was the mindset that we just couldn't fix tonight.
Season high in shooting percentage for the Nets tonight. Did you see the level of defensive effort and intensity that you wanted from the team?
I thought they were just too comfortable from the get-go. We did turn them over early. Our force was there, but after that, the contest level, the force, the scramble, the hustle to make these things contested, to make them miss, I did not think was there.
And you look at that first quarter that Brian Keefe was talking about. Wizards were able to force 5 turnovers in that frame. It led to 9 points on the other end. And so even though the Nets shot 55% from the floor in the first quarter, Wizards were even, 28 apiece after one quarter. But then the defensive initiative to force the turnovers slowly but surely got away from the Wizards. They did force 6 more turnovers in the second quarter, but the Nets were able to shoot 63% and made 12 free throws in that second quarter on their way to 35 points. That gave Brooklyn the 10-point lead headed into halftime. And then in the second half, Wizards were only able to force 4 turnovers, leading to 4 points on the other end. And the offense for the Wizards just never seemingly got going on this Sunday night. Next up for the Wizards, a 3-game road trip. It starts Wednesday night in Minneapolis. Friday, the Wizards go to Toronto, and the second half of a back-to-back will be Saturday against the Bulls.
I just want to dominate. They have the potential.
The Wizards have done it.
They have the good players. They have the coaching.
They have given the nation's capital a reason to smile again.
Go Wizards.
Unbelievable.
Wizards Radio 24/7.
Diego Gilman with the answer. Backdoor 10-point game, 82-72, 4:59 to go third. Coulibaly, Capital One Arena logo on the right side. Crossover, drives. Oh, snap! The wall, Coulibaly, the bang. 82-74. He just took it to the rack.
Welcome into the Michelob Ultra postgame show on the Washington Wizards Radio Network. The Wizards fall tonight 129-106 to the Brooklyn Nets. I want to apologize. We had some technical difficulties. I'm Glenn Consor. Chris Wright is with me. And Chris, this was the type of game, we could break this thing down all we want. But to me, it was one of those games where the Wizards just could not get their defensive intensity up enough to dictate what they were going to do offensively. And Brooklyn played better. They shared the ball. Wizards, I didn't think were making the extra pass. Wanted to get your thoughts.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed that a lot of teams, good defensive teams, measure their activity and their energy by deflections.
Right.
And how many deflections can we get off the ball, on the ball? That even is bigger than communication a lot of times. And today, the point of a pickup, where we were picking up defensively,
points, yeah, no question.
There was no bumping of cutters going through lanes. Right. The communication wasn't at a high level.
Deflections. They weren't taking charges.
Weren't taking charges.
And I had a chance to talk to some of the coaches before the game, and they said, "Look, they don't have a traditional point guard on this team."
Right.
So what do you do? What do you do with that?
You press them. You blitz them.
You blitz them.
Get all over them.
You double team them.
Yeah.
And we didn't see that. And that's something that needed to be done this game.
Yeah, there didn't seem a sense of urgency tonight. And one thing I can say about the Brooklyn Nets, we can hear it up here, the bench was live the entire game. It was a very live, active. They were calling out plays. I was sat behind the bench for a couple quarters. They were calling out plays. Everybody was, one thing about a team that if you're trying to win is communication is big. And if I'm the coach and I say, Glenn, let's run play 13. you say play 13 and everybody else says play 13.
Right.
You know, it's just kind of the communication pattern. So there's a few things that we need to work on and tighten up.
Yeah, and they will.
And they will. Yeah.
You know, look, these are all learning moments. This one hurt because, you know, they were flat. You know, they were flat on defense. And offensively, I thought there was, you know, not a lot of ball movement. We didn't see a lot of the ball swinging around the perimeter. You know, in the beginning of the game, we saw a couple of dribble drives to kickouts for threes, but there wasn't a lot of plays being run. And, you know, I think going into the fourth quarter where the Wizards had a shot, they got outscored 35-22 in the fourth.
Yeah, you know, sometimes in this day and age, in this game of basketball, in this NBA, you can get stagnant to the point where it's pass and next person you go. Then if I don't have anything, next person you can go. You know, so it can get to that system. Boston Celtics were actually one of the best at that system in terms of the read and react, penetrate, kick. Now you play off of that and we play off of each other. Our team isn't set up to have a team that is reading and reacting off of everyone because we're still trying to figure out our
and they're
identities.
still so young.
And we're still trying to figure out our roles as NBA players.
Right.
You know, so it's going to be some nights like this where it can be frustrating at times for guys trying to figure out what's the best way for them to play, how they can be effective. But one thing I think that we can always coach and one thing that we can always put emphasis on is effort and intensity.
Right.
And I just feel like they didn't have that today.
No, and you know what? The stats really were revealing with that because the Wizards all night got 3 offensive rebounds.
Right.
3.
Right.
You know,
weren't going to the boards.
No, you know, and they lost the battle of the boards, but, you know, you could still win games that way, but you got to shoot efficiently. And here's the big number to me. The Nets had 32 assists, which is a season high. And that goes to your point, Chris, about getting deflections, you know, not letting them look. I thought the Nets did a really good job seeing the floor.
They did.
Seeing who was open, you know, making the extra pass. And they were able to slice through the Wizards' defense.
Yeah, I think Tyrese Martin did an exceptional job in terms of setting the tone. Terrence Mann was exceptional in terms of setting the tone. And they really felt comfortable out there. I think it's really important, and we have to really emphasize this, is the importance of film. Watching film and being knowing in KYP and just knowing your players' tendencies, what they like to do, especially against a team that doesn't have a lot of playmakers like they have tonight. They're trying to do it by committee. So everything is coming up.
You had to be disruptive.
You have
tonight,
to be disruptive.
And tonight they weren't.
You had to be disruptive.
They weren't.
And the Wizards will try to sort it out Wednesday against Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. That game will be at 8 o'clock. Pre-game coverage will start at 5:45 with the Wizards Power Hour right here on Wizards Radio 24/7.
My name is Rafael Hernandez. I'm from Puerto Rico. Longtime fan. Bullets as well. Wizards Radio 24/7.
Here on Wizards Radio 24/7, we're getting you ready for the 2025-2026 season, which in a sense opened in earnest on September 29th with Media Day, the start of Wizards training camp. And one of the highlights of last season was when the Wizards acquired Chris Middleton from the Milwaukee Bucks, bringing a stabilizing veteran presence to the locker room. In 82 games last season, the Wizards won 18. But of the 14 games that Chris Middleton appeared in, the Wizards won 6. And so they're hoping that his veteran leadership can lead the Wizards to a breakthrough season in 2025-2026. And he talked about his goals in year 14 in the league with Wizards Radio 24/7.
Chris, last year, one thing that jumped out at me was watching you on the road in practice, working with some of the young players, pulling them aside, showing them some post-up moves. This is a very young team. You know, your role as a leader on this year's team is going to be no different.
Yeah, it's just about, you know, answering questions that they have and then supporting them on the court. I think that's what it's all about. It's not about me telling them what they're supposed to do, how it's supposed to go. That's their job to figure out their own path. But I'm just here to help.
For me, welcome back another season. This is what, year 16? 14? You're going to get there. You're going to get there. No, for you've seen every phase of the game, you know, starting in G League to being an intricate player of a contender to winning a title to now being a veteran and having that experience. What's your motivation at this stage? You've accomplished so much. You've been in the big games. You've been in the bad games. You've been in the best locker rooms. You've been in the worst locker rooms. What's the motivation now at this point to continue to go, to continue to play?
I would say just, for my love for the game. I feel like I still have a lot left in the tank. It's just about day by day enjoying what I'm doing. So it's really not about setting an expectation on myself. I never really did that in the past. It's all about trying to attack each day and being better each day. That's just the way we get to the next day and continue to play.
It's a game of fine margins. So many great players. Everybody is a great player. And think about your journey and making it to the NBA. We had Justin Champetti earning a contract. What is if there's a secret, I don't know if it's a secret, but what separates and what gets people to that next level?
I think it's just about, consistency, your daily habits, doing things the right way. A lot of times it doesn't show up overnight. It takes, a couple years, a year or two. Some guys it happens faster, some guys it happens slower. But all those guys who are great and, in 10 plus years have found a way to be consistent.
Is part of that what's going on? Brian Keefe said you had the whole team off season. Is part of the real foundation for that the off season, so to speak?
Yeah, that's what it starts. It doesn't start day one of training camp. It starts really the day after your last game. Planning how you're going to prep for the upcoming season, figure out how you're going to attack the summer to accomplish your goals, and then once training camp starts, now you figure out what the team's success is going to be like once we get everybody in the same room together.
What's some of the things you worked on this summer, knowing the situation that you're coming into with this extremely young team?
Yeah, I think for me personally, it was just, come in, as fresh and healthy. I think I use this, or want to use this as a fresh start this season. First time I've had a summer where I didn't have procedure or international basketball for quite some time. So my goal was just to get as fresh as I could and be mentally prepared coming into this season.
And what is more exhausting, one media day or two practices?
I will go with two practices. You guys are easy on us this year. I love it.
And one of the interesting questions with Middleton is just how exhausting will his 2025-2026 season be? You may remember when he was traded to the Wizards from Milwaukee, he was coming off of an injury. So in his 14 appearances in D.C., he averaged 22 minutes per